I said 112 too.
So I was gonna get the 112s for the Joe Show hats, but I can't ever go up there.
So if everyone will please like and share, because it's on there.
Are we live?
We are live. Live-ish.
Oh, jeez.
Turn my media down.
I will say Tommy Clouse on the share, so therefore only your friends. That was a motion flurry right out of the gate, lady, eh?
You're welcome.
Motion flurry!
You're welcome. I did what I can.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Curtis Vickers and his beautiful hair are watching.
Is he?
Her.
How about it out there, Mr. Vickers?
I'm doing an emotion frenzy as well.
You remember his beautiful hair? You have beautiful hair too, though, Tommy.
I did once upon a time.
I don't know that it's Curtis Vickers.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's quite to that level.
Hello, Caitlin.
I mean, call a spade a spade.
That's true.
Yeah.
And share. El Conquistador.
Hair still? No.
El Conquistador.
Oh, yeah, well, it depends.
I've seen
How you doing, brother?
2 years since then. Not that long, but I mean,
he could cut it like on Monday, and by Saturday he's got this beautiful
Ellen.
Yeah.
Hello.
And the beard.
like Wolverine, but with a mullet.
Hello.
Giant beard, you know. Just a guy that's, you look at him and you say, he's going to make it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
What's up, Hatfield?
Facebook is.
Who y'all talking about?
Oh,
Curtis is beautiful.
Oh, man. It's ridiculous.
What's up, Hatfield?
Hello, Chad. Saw Chad yesterday.
Did you? At the bank?
At the
El
Jersey,
Conquistador.
at the Jersey Mike's.
Oh, did you have a number 44?
I had a number 44. It was my birthday sub. They sent me a free coupon for a 44 regular and a drink.
You got a coupon?
A coupon.
What's up, Amber Schwei?
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you.
Happy birthday, friend.
Chad Hatfield, where y'all at? You and Carney, I thought y'all were supposed
Yeah,
to
I
be
couldn't
here.
find a really good meme for you to put on the page, and I thought, that's the dude. That's pretty good.
Excellent.
That was good.
Couldn't have been better.
I like the male
What's up,
exotic
Heath?
dancer.
Yeah.
That one.
I like
Happy
Amber
birthday, big
Schwei. I
fella.
want to say hi to her as well. I know you did, but I like her. I like her a lot. She's
Who
a
that?
nice lady. Amber Schwei.
Oh, yeah. Great masseuse.
Never had a massage.
I don't have to come. My back's killing me.
She's just a good person.
Is this a different one, Bull?
That's cider.
No, it should have your. There's a tag on it that says.
Over here.
Oh.
That one
There's a tag. Is it in the
That's the
door? It should
blonde.
be in the door, and it should have a tag that says Promenade.
All this beer confusion.
TW.
Seriously, what's
I
going
mean,
on?
he could try the other one too.
2 Toms.
Yeah.
Well,
2 times.
Well,
We do
got
have
to
2
wait for
times.
everybody to do the.
That's Tom Two
sample.
Cats.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an announcement. It's a
Yeah, that's
sponsorship.
from GRS Designs.
Yeah. That's really
It
cool.
is. It is cool.
I know.
I'll take it. Helps both of us. We get a buzz, and you sell beer.
Yeah.
Oh, we love you. We love you, Amber.
Brandy
Curtis
Bagley.
Vickers
Brandy.
cuts your ear
How do I say?
off.
Brandy
Kelly
Kelly.
Bagley?
Do what?
Brandy Kelly O'Bagley.
Brandy Kelly O'Bagley.
Yes, that's how I
I
said
almost
it.
cut my beard this morning, but
Curtis cut his beard off this morning.
everybody here.
Curtis,
I saw that
son.
beard competition thing you had. So
What
I
happened?
Didn't want to be.
Shorn.
He cut his
Yeah, I
beard.
didn't want to be the
Well,
guy
I
with no
mean,
beard.
he's probably still got his hair, so we can't really say
I gotta shave
shit.
tomorrow.
It'll be back tomorrow.
Go, man.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I can't go completely bald.
It's probably already back right now.
Yeah.
He cut it off this morning. It's probably well on its
I thought
way.
you said that yours
He's
was
in the corner
irritating you,
straining, and it's just-
you couldn't wait to get it off.
Just
Well-
growing.
I can't go. I like it trimmed.
Oh, okay.
I don't
okay.
like it just wild.
Okay.
I prefer to keep it like this.
Right.
You know, once it gets, I'll let it get bushy, and I'll go like with no guard and just give the shadow and let it start again. And then when it gets to where it bugs me, I'll knock her down again and start over.
It sounds like a very efficient way to have a beard.
It's
I got-
every couple months.
Yep.
I got a question for you, Bull. On your beard, do you do something with this mustache part? Like, do
I
you
just started.
wax it or something, or do you
I-
just cut it shorter than everything
I
else?
just started working on my mustache accompaniment.
Accompaniment.
Yeah.
Accompaniment.
Oh, Curtis looking for a haircut. He wants to cut it.
Yeah.
I'd love
I've
to cut
always
that.
wondered about that.
It'd be like
Seven.
I'd be like
I have a
Lila.
mustache
presents
wax.
me.
We could
It's
like
the
do a
first time
raffle
I've
for
ever
this thing,
got one.
Curtis.
I got a mustache wax in the
I had a friend
van.
from San Francisco that gave me
Action.
like a beard wax.
And we are live.
Rolling.
Yeah, I have mustache wax in
Okay,
the van.
I can hear you anyway.
Yeah,
Let's start the show.
In a van down
Let's
by
do
the
it.
river with his mustache wax.
with his mustache wax. You must.
Yeah.
He must mustache wax.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
All right.
You ready?
Is it live?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the timer's gone.
Yeah.
Okay,
Waiting
sorry.
on you.
Why does that have a timer on it, Andrea?
All right, everybody. Welcome to the
Next episode.
of the Everyday Joe Show. I'm your host, the Travis Reed. Might have heard of me before.
Who has?
Tommy.
He's
heard
the
of
only
Travis?
one.
He's just the new guy. Didn't know the joke yet, so yeah, he's heard of me.
Man, this is bull.
No, he looks lost. He is.
No, this
Yeah.
is
just roll
bull.
with
He's
it,
off
yep.
camera.
Yeah.
No one has heard of you, Travis.
Well, we'll work on that. Here, episode 94, Studio 11, Lady A womaning the controls.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm dandy.
You are dandy.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I was hoping
Well,
you
you
would.
still looking like a snack over there.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So are you.
Glad you're back.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, good lord.
I know.
Gone for a day and a half, and it was terrible.
2.5.
2.5 days.
Yeah.
I can't count.
See?
What's up, Nate?
Really
Sometime.
care.
So, I did. I ate pizza and watched movies.
Yeah.
What are you drinking over there?
Well, I have. Let me. Diskin cider.
Yeah. Wait a
Keeping
minute.
it
From
PG,
Ellen,
Curly.
thank
You
you.
didn't say that right.
No, I didn't.
No. Yeah. How's that treating you?
Very well.
Very well.
I didn't know you had it in an aluminum can.
Huh. Is that as good as a
They
foreskin
didn't have
cider?
it in a keg, so I have to keep it in all the time. 'Cause,
People like it.
It's very popular.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll get upset with me if I don't
Well,
have it.
thanks for being here.
Well, thank
Is that how you
you.
always
Yeah.
say aluminum?
Aluminium.
Aluminium.
Yeah, that's how we
Well,
say it.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
What did you say?
I guess I didn't get the memo. Aluminum.
What's up, Sweeten? Tooth?
Yeah.
Aluminium.
How are you, sir?
Thanks for asking. I'm doing great.
Okay.
How about yourself?
Fabulous. No.
Wait.
Fabulous.
That's more
Thank
like
you.
it.
Whew, I about screwed up my own stick there.
Your shtick.
My own shtick.
Shtick.
What are you pulling on tonight,
I'll
buddy?
give you 3 guesses, and the
That
first
bit-
2 don't count.
23 flavors.
You damn right, son.
That Dr. Pepper, you love it.
Man, it's good for you. I'm
Is it?
telling you. 10, 2, and 4.
Does it cure
Come
what
on,
ails
get
you?
in. Cures what ails you.
I used to have a 10, 2, and 4 shirt of Dr. Pepper
See?
when I worked for Coke.
It's classic.
See, here we go again. How do you know you're on flavors 10, 2, and 4 right now?
I don't. I was talking about what times you should drink a Dr. Pepper for your health.
10,
10, 2, and 4.
Ah,
Currently,
damn
I'm on
it.
Dr. Pepper flavor. Let me see. That is most definitely tonight is a 3, 7, and 6 night.
Wow.
And it's in that order. It's not 3, 6, and 7. 3, 7, 6.
And you got to just, your palate
Darn.
is just amazing.
I'm trained.
It is trained.
I'm a Dr. Pepper aficionado.
I'm proud of you.
I'm out of my depth here.
You don't drink soda.
Special guest this evening, Tommy Clouse. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Good. You like this crap show you just stepped into, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to learn more about Dr. Pepper. All of the,
He's right there. Just
Yeah,
ask
You
him.
will.
So
Don't worry.
They make this stuff in Plano, Texas. If you can believe that. Plano. Yeah.
yeah, I
Just
have no
plain
reason
old
not
Texas?
to believe it.
Right there beside
Yeah.
the tackle boxes.
That's right. What you drinking this evening?
I'm drinking Hudson IPA. Is that
Hutton
right,
and
Bull?
Smith.
Hudson and Smith IPA.
The IPA.
It's good. It's not a super strong IPA taste, so it's actually just the kind of IPA I like.
I like the IPAs. They hurt my tummy.
Give you the
Stomach.
scoots.
No,
It's
yeah,
nice.
Oh yeah.
yeah, no. They taste great though. I love them, but I can't
Just
do
fall
it.
right
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, it's like I ran it. yeah. Well, you're done with that one. Eviction notice.
That didn't last long.
Yeah, holler at you. What's up, Charlie McCummon? All right, Tommy. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Short
Hey,
notice,
Charlie.
man. This is
Yeah.
it's gonna be great.
El Conquistador said that's just barbecue water.
Yeah. I like that one.
What's wrong with him?
Nothing.
Did you beat him as a
A
child?
little.
Okay. Eli,
Yes,
Thank
How
you,
are you?
Caitlin.
I'm good.
I'm Team Dr. Pepper.
what
as
you
well.
what you drinking?
Yeah.
I'm drinking a Mueller,
A Diet Mueller.
Diet Mueller.
All right. Thanks for being here.
Likewise.
Glad you're here.
You know what? I said that last time, and I was spot on. He said it exactly the way I said it last time. I just wanted to point that out.
You think he studied your
Who was
mannerisms?
that? Did y'all hear that guy? Who was that?
Yeah, he was putting his sexy voice on.
I did.
Oh.
It goes
That-
with his mustache wax.
Have you guys ever?
Really
It
weird.
comes with
My-
the voice. The voice
My,
comes
my,
with
comp, my
wax.
accompaniment.
Have you guys ever listened to Garth Brooks radio on Sirius?
I have, actually.
Have you noticed when Garth talks, he's like he gets this bedroom voice going on, and when he's introducing a song, he's talking all smooth. I can't stand it. It drives me nuts. Talk like a normal person. Why are you talking in your
He's
bedroom
making up
voice?
for his
Thanks
bald
stopping
hair.
by at 107.9
That's what he's
on the
doing.
radio.
I'm not speaking from experience or anything. He is.
Yeah.
He's making up from his bald head.
Bamboo.
That's
I have a bald head.
I know, but
That's a beautiful bald head, though.
It is. I mean, I can't argue with that.
Hello, everyone out there.
That's you're not going
Yeah,
to.
I know.
Yeah.
Snaps, everybody.
Yeah.
This
I
is
know.
bull.
I'm glad you heard that.
What's up, Ryan Brazier?
Thank you. I own it.
Davey
Hey, Ryan.
Stout. Hanging out in the peanut gallery this evening. We got Bull.
Travulus.
Yeah, good try. Yeah, it's close.
Well, come up with your own shtick.
Yeah.
Oh, did he say that already?
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, there we go again.
Were you standing up? Were you checking something? Did you miss it?
Say dandy. You're dandy.
Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, there you go. And
You
now
look like
tell
a
us.
tasty snack.
Did you see the smile on his face when he said dandy? You
Thank
look at
you,
him.
Toots.
You know what the funniest thing about Bull is when you made that face just now, it was so cute because it kind of looked like I can already picture you with no teeth. Like you had that beard face. It was like you're looking right in there. Look,
It's not fair. People can't see this.
You know what he reminded me of? You know the guy at the end of Jackass that throws the confetti?
yes.
Yeah. You look at him as like that guy
Yeah.
loves tapioca.
Yeah.
I don't, actually.
You will.
Give it time.
Brazier, we need to talk. I miss you, buddy.
Well, thanks for being here tonight, sir.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you all for having me.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Ellen,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good.
Good talk.
You're really good at this.
So if next time, Ellen, you could just turn down the enthusiasm just a skosh.
That was too much.
We don't need all the flair.
Yeah. You can't out enthuse me.
No, you can't. That's impossible.
Mark Anderton.
But she just did.
She really did.
Hello, Mark.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Who's next?
That gentleman right there is next. How are you doing this evening?
Honored.
You know, seen you a million times at 4 or 5 at Harvest.
Close.
Yeah. And always talked, you ask about the show. And I'm glad you're here. You get to witness this crap firsthand.
Been trying to get him to witness this crap firsthand for quite a few days.
Yeah. Well, he'll never be back.
Well, it was fun. Like I was talking with Mike last week, and he was coming in to try to make it last Thursday, but his flight just landed.
Oh, yeah,
and he
that's right.
said, "Yeah." So I'm driving down the interstate watching the show, and I'm like, "All right, that's dedication
Travis?
right there.
I'm
That's
pretty
good."
sure I was the only one on I-24 watching the everything.
Oh, I can guarantee that.
I hope so.
And then Jackie, she chimed in, and I couldn't pronounce her last name, and I wasn't going to try. And said, nope, sorry, honey, I can't do it, not going to do it.
First time after I met her, not to jump into
All
your
right.
show,
No.
but I mistakenly called her
Now you can
Diswankus.
interact.
Yeah.
I only did that once.
Yeah, oh,
It is Diswankus.
this Wonkus.
Do not call her a wankus.
Yeah. I'm just going to, no, I'm
Go
not.
well.
Not to be
I'll just say hi.
for the Wankus of Southern Connecticut.
Exactly.
All right, there we go.
Well, I never knew that.
Well, I mean, I googled.
We'll write this shit down.
It was worth a Google, and he Googled.
He did. He Googled the shit out of it.
Thank you.
Friday, Bull.
All right, guys. Don't forget, you can watch this Facebook Live, and you can watch it on YouTube Live as well. So click on there, subscribe, like, follow. We're on the Twitter.
I have to say, this is my first Facebook Live event, not just to be in, but to ever actually watch, because I just figured out how to watch it at the same time
Did
that
you
we're up
share it?
here.
He actually had to get
Slow down.
Yeah, easy.
You're about to
Hey,
mile
easy.
down to
Yeah.
before you walk, okay?
Well, if
Yeah.
one of y'all can just
Eli
do that
knows
for
he's the
him.
one I already had to cheat off his paper to get this far. Yeah.
He knows the answers.
Yeah,
How
exactly.
many degrees?
I enrolled them all low.
Where this guy went. No, you went to MIT. He went to Stanford. So.
No, I didn't go. No,
No,
I
you
didn't say
didn't?
that at all.
No.
I enrolled.
You filled out the app.
I
Let's
did.
clarify.
Yeah, I actually went.
Hello, Tanner Mallard. How are you, sir? How is Courtney? Tell her I said hello. I hope we're well.
Lady A, we're up to 27 people. Better hurry up and get your share girl out there.
Share goal, we got 20 something last time,
28.
so let's do 25 this week. So we got 29 people watch it, 30. All 30 y'all, please like and share.
Wrap me
I
up.
feel like our share goal should be always somewhere close to the number that's already on this.
Okay, 30. 30 is
Thank
our
you.
share goal. How about that? Edited share goal.
If all 31 of you people will share, then we'll have at least 30 shares.
Yeah.
Now there's
32,
34.
34, it's
Wait, keep
climbing.
climbing.
It is huge.
We're gonna see the rest of the show to see if people's gonna watch.
Coach Wilder's watching.
This is another one of those shows where people are just going to watch us count.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I love those shows where they just watch us count all night.
Today is brought to you by the
It was
letter
a lot like
35.
Sesame Street.
The letter 35.
Is that? So that's the
Just
letter
new share goal.
zero.
Yeah.
That's the letter zero, right?
Not the number zero.
K is in cat.
What do you mean?
I had a guy the other day. I was reading off some numbers to him, and he said, "Whoa, hang on. Now, is that the number zero or the letter zero?"
Well,
Okay, here we go.
There's only one option.
Yeah.
Well, hey, at least we got good attendance goals around here.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh man. Jeez. It
I
was
don't know if
crazy.
I know Steve Wilder, but I just want to say I like his salutation. Good evening, lady and gentlemen, and Eli.
Yeah, I'm gonna like that too.
It makes sense.
It does.
You're all your own category.
That's true.
Thank
That's
y'all
very
for
true.
sharing.
You're the best looking one on this.
What's up, Trisha Freeze?
Tired.
Pardon?
Can you shave the beard?
I
mean,
heard you
trim
were
it.
the
Yeah, it's
you're
the
the
trimmer,
best
yeah.
looking male on the show.
Yes.
And this came from another male who was very secure. And you're the looker of the show for the men.
The guy who drew all the logos, he says you're the looker.
How do you feel about
Imagine
that?
what you could do with some mustache.
I feel like he's got pretty good taste.
Mustache accompaniment.
Feel like he knows what he's
actually
doing.
Have, I placed in the beard competition, and I won a little goodie bag that was provided by a sponsor of the beard competition, and it had some Witty's beard balm in it. And I get this random message from an old friend of mine who we took some fire department classes together, took some driver training and such. And he sends me this message. He says, "Hey man," he says, "I saw you were in a beard competition.
For sure, Ross
I
Caps.
started a beard balm company, and I would like to send you a sample, and I was wondering if you would care to use it and let me know what you think and maybe giving me a plug here and there." And I said, "Yeah, man, no problem. What's the name of your beard company?" And he says, "Witty's
on.
Beard Company.
Huh.
Witty's Beard Balm." So I go to my bathroom and I take a picture of the Witty's Beard Balm that I got.
Already possess.
And I said, "I got you." And he was like, "Man, that made my day. That is so
Aw.
awesome." And I had no idea it was his company.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
is
So,
cool.
and it is. It's a
So
smells
tag it.
great. The pleasing aroma. It's
A
half the point.
pleasing aroma.
So did he send you some then?
No,
You did.
He didn't need
You're playing
to.
this game all wrong.
that's true.
You already had it.
Exactly. Yeah.
What was
It's
I
all
thinking?
about
Like
more
I said,
stuff,
I
man.
enrolled.
Josh Rogers.
I didn't go.
Just tell him when you're out. I like that stuff so much. I'm already out. Can you send me some more?
It smells
should.
very good.
Well,
and it will.
for him to send him some more, he would have had to have sent him some.
Well, no, he needs more.
Give me more, please. Have
Oh,
some more.
I follow now.
Yeah.
Can I have some more?
Get
Have
some
some
more,
more,
please. All right. As far as the live shows, we got a couple. As Larry Brigman would say, we got irons in the fire. Irons in the fire. So when we can discuss them more in the future, we'll talk about them more in the
Yeah.
future. So just stay tuned.
We have
Stay tuned.
irons.
We got orange in the four.
In the four.
In the four.
Oh.
Huh? Well, come on. What's up, Becca Cable?
Hello, Becca.
Hello.
Jeff Holt.
Hey, Jeff.
All right. So the guest of the evening, Tommy Clouse. Interesting man. We went to most of us went to high school. Tommy's a year or so older than us. Hung out in the same crowds, epic parties at your places back
Yes,
in the day.
thank
We,
you.
we've actually
Yeah.
told stories of
Yeah.
said place on the show several times.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Well, I gotta have
Well, it was
to
great because it was
read
kind
those
of down,
episodes.
and the cops couldn't see anything because it was by the road. You couldn't see it.
Not that there was anything illegal going on there, but
Oh,
yes,
you're
the
the
cops
one.
No, it's
also
just-
couldn't
just
see it.
underage
Yeah,
drinking and drug
yeah,
use.
No,
Deal.
I was talking about the fire without a permit.
yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I
That's
got
what I
permits.
Did you? Oh, okay. Well, that's the other thing then.
Yeah.
We had some good. What's up, Travis with Kelly? We had some good times down there. It was
Yeah. No,
epic
absolutely.
parties, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, boy,
sure.
can I have a McLovin, please?
I hated you guys missed those because it was everybody in all walks of life, and this person and that person who didn't hang out normally, and boom, they're there, and everybody was cool.
Everybody gets
Yeah,
along.
everybody got
My
along.
parents
That was the
weren't
main thing.
fornicating
Yeah.
early enough for me to have made it.
Well, it ain't our
Me
fault.
All I
either.
can say.
Made up for it in the end, hadn't it? Yeah,
Well, at least one of them has. Huh?
yeah. Huh?
Well,
Come
I'll tell
on,
you what,
come on.
Well, no, and speaking of that,
that-
the bringing togetherness, of it down there. I remember whenever the relationship with Billy Bob Carden was established.
Yep.
And that was just sort of one of the. I hate to use the word epic because it feels too, but it was just an amazing thing of what spawned of just saying, "Hey, could you guys please quit scaring the children?" And so it was. And this amazing relationship come out of it.
It's not that far off. Because what happened is we actually, the first big party we had there, we had one group of people down around the fire and then another group of people kind of up in the field. And there was sort of two groups who didn't hang out with each other a lot. So I walked up to the field and I said, "Hey, guys, we got a fire down here. Why don't you guys come down and hang out at the fire?" So they all came down to the fire, and everyone was sort of hanging out. And I think someone was throwing pieces of ice or I mean something small, but enough that it
They all
was.
started jumping. I remember they started jumping on the bench that was made, and they were throwing ice.
Yeah,
like it
something
was
like that.
escalating very quickly.
Yeah, so so I just walked over to Billy Bob, who's a good friend of mine now, but at the time we weren't super
Acquaintances.
close. Yeah, I mean we knew each other. We graduated together, and I just said, "Hey, you think you could tell these guys to take it easy on the ice?" And he said, "All right," and that was the end. Forever. Like we never had another problem at any party ever. Yeah, so it was actually like. Take it easy on the kids.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Well, no. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember it. Like we were sitting there, and Tommy, he at that time he drank beer out of a bucket, and so he had his bucket that he was drinking beer out
That was
of.
my 21st birthday.
I need something
And-
more bucketish.
Yeah.
So we got a trough laying around.
And so anyway, so Adam
what you
Weldon,
meant?
he moseyed up, and Adam was like, I think we might need to do something about that. And then we looked over the shoulder, and it was a bunch of people in Kappa Chi shirts jumping up and down, and they were yelling. And Tom's like, yeah. And so I was like, all right,
Some
so
people
who's,
don't know what the Kappa Chi is.
well, we're talking to locals here, so if they don't know, they can Google it.
There's somebody from Indiana listening right now, one of Mike's buddies.
So there was a group of
book?
individuals that preferred to
So-
wrestle in mud and say yeehaw often. And
Curtis has a
Well,
good question.
it was
He
a
says,
fraternity.
which Billy Bob?
Which
That's actually
Billy Bob?
a Carden.
Billy Bob Carden.
But that's a
yeah.
good question.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Billy Bob Carden. But yeah, no, I mean it was a cool. And once again, as drunk as I got, and as large as I don't remember, I do remember that night. I remember it very well.
So you must have started it sober.
I don't remember. I drank a lot. I remember the instance. I remember Adam walking up because like Adam was the den mother. Adam was the den mother of the farm, and so
Curtis remembers. That's what he said. Hell yeah, I remember.
yeah.
The one time I was out, well, I've been out several times. One time I was there talking to somebody, and I was on the other side of the fire next to, like, I guess it goes down to a creek or something, just drops off the earth.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there
Gotta watch
talking,
that.
and because I'm talking, and I said blah 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 blah, and the guy's like, "Yeah, so Travis, where'd you go?" And I stepped off the earth. I'm down in a holler going, "How the hell am I gonna get out of here?" I landed on my feet, which was
Was you wearing Vans?
No.
Or Cats?
I probably had Jordans. I don't know. They got ripped though. Yeah, that was crazy. So Tommy went to high school here. You went out to college at Stanford.
I did.
How was that?
It was fantastic. Bull knows he came out to visit.
So Justin Clark.
Yeah, it was an interesting
Hey,
time
Big
to
Al.
be there because I was there in the mid '90s, which was the first internet revolution. So yeah, so for example, in my freshman dorm, there were some guys doing it seemed like a pyramid scheme. It was like these guys would come around and basically they said, these guys would come around the dorm. They said they'd pay us $10 for getting on the computer and like clicking on this and doing this and that, and it all just sounded crazy to me. And I said, these guys are idiots. And then like a week later, they all got checks for like a couple $1,000.
Holy
which
cow.
freshman year of college, like for doing a weekend's worth of work. But then I said, okay, well, what's going on here? And then by that time, they'd already sort of found it's getting harder and harder to do this job, whatever it was.
Mhm.
And I thought, what kind of sucker is going to pay a bunch of college kids to get on the computer and mess around? And that sucker was the guys who started Yahoo.
Oh
Who
wow!
were in grad school there, and they were helping them find websites. It was before anyone knew what the World Wide Web really was.
Right.
It was just like you get on the computer and do some stuff.
Hey, Mother Judy.
That's
Oregon
So-
Trail
Hello,
and
Mother
such.
Judy.
Yeah,
Oregon Trail.
Yeah, it's like Oregon Trail was the computer as far as I knew. Yeah. But so that was one thing about it. I think another great thing about it is just the type of people you meet there, just in terms of faculty and students. You know, there's a lot of interesting people from all over the world. Definitely, I mean, I certainly loved growing up here, but it was also great to be in a place with people from all over the world who were doing things that they were passionate about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool, man. The guys started Yahoo.
I gotta assume that's a huge culture shock for someone from rural Tennessee
Yeah.
to go to Stanford and and see all those different walks of life. I'm sure that's, especially as a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Or 18, I don't know how old
18,
you were,
yeah.
but 18, 19 years old. That had to have been, whoa.
Yeah, it definitely was, and it was. I had actually gone out there
Roxanne.
for like a summer camp the year before in the summer, and that was, yeah, all those experiences in terms of being around people from all over the world. It really, forces you to look back on yourself and the way that you've grown up and where
Sure.
you're from,
Your
and
customs.
how you feel about things. And I think as another part of that, it certainly inspired in me a desire to travel around and learn more about the world, which I've done.
Yeah,
we're gonna
that was
get-
the next topic. Where the hell you don't stay anywhere?
No, I've been in Nashville a while now.
What's up, Hatfield?
Winston! Bubba's in the house!
What's up, Brandon Floyd
And
Spencer?
he's wearing a Jordan jersey. Come on.
I have heard
Nice.
that Chad Hatfield is the drinking capital of the world.
He is.
I like it. I like it.
I like that how it just
So
travels with you. I
when
like
You might be the coolest looking guy in the room tonight. I'm kidding you not, dude. That shirt, like
We
it's.
need to flip that thing around. Show the.
Just go
viewers,
stand in
right?
front of it.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, Chad. Show
Just get this.
Yeah, come on, give 'em-
logo
Yeah,
part
come on,
there,
buddy.
right?
Just put your chest out there for it.
Oh yeah, I am the beer
That's
drinking
a-
capital.
That's a Martin's barbecue shirt, and that Martin's has been featured on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives
With Guy Fieri?
with Guy Fieri.
Ooh.
The two R's make it a T. It's crazy.
It's Italian.
Hey, Big Al says now all you gotta do is go to your local bus station to get a culture shock.
That is correct.
Yeah. So you graduated Stanford 4 years, 5 years, 2 years,
No, 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Underachiever.
Yeah. Well,
Hey, Cam,
the
go-
financial
go
aid
be the
rules
Cam.
change after 4 years. You can't screw around
Oh, yeah.
as much.
Oh, that sucks.
yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So-
and another thing is like the and whenever I went out there, because once again, I can't even imagine the 4 years, and I only got to experience a lot of it within 2 weeks. But like, whenever I went out there, like the second day I was there, they was like, "Hey, you want to have fun?" Tom was still, because remember, so Tom, I went out there. He was fixing to graduate. He was still doing finals, and he was still doing his job, and plus we were partying because it was his last 2 weeks. And so, but my second day there, and BJ was like, "Hey, you want to have a good time?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then they took me in the sewer tunnels beneath the the school.
So, like Ninja
that
Turtle
they-
style, getting pizzas and stuff.
No,
Oh.
we went in the sewer tunnels.
Did anyone have a half show or turtle?
Oh,
Nope.
Joe Evershow is watching. Whoever you may
Joe
be,
Evershow, who are you?
they're not gonna tell us now because you want to know.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
I could care
So,
less who you are, Joe Evershow.
You went.
Actually, I think I missed the sewer tunnels. I was studying that day, and BJ took you down
Oh yeah,
there.
BJ. Yeah, that's what we done that whole night. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I went. It was so cool. BJ was like, "Hey, look, I've got a
Great.
Well, no, BJ.
Well,
Well, you got to understand the company I was with. So BJ was like, "Hey, look, I've got a class this morning, and so then we'll go to the tunnels." I was like, "All right, well, I'm gonna drink." He was like, "Well, come on, go to class with me." I was like, "I got my beer." He's like, "Oh, it's all good. Bring it with you." So went, and then we ended up for the rest of the evening crawling around in the tunnels beneath
Hey, John
Stanford
Richardson.
University, and I guess
Kevin
that's
Smith,
one
who
of
you
their
met at Nashville,
pastimes,
is there?
or either that, or they were just
Kevin
having
Smith,
fun with me.
That you met at Steak
I don't know which one yet.
or both.
What's up, Kevin?
Not exclusive.
Let's take this
Yeah.
hillbilly
Hey,
down to the
Kevin.
sewer.
You think he'll really go for it? Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I'm in
Give 'em a
Palo
couple
Alto.
beers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's make it sound cool.
yeah, in Palo Alto in California, and they're like, "We're going to take you to the tunnels under the university." Like, woo! Let's go.
Are you serious?
All right. So after Stanford, where you've been every freaking where? I don't even know where to
We
begin.
like Johnny Cash.
Where really
Oh yeah, man. It's hard to
hard to remember.
keep track. Yeah. So I finished school. I spent a couple years working as a ski bum. So travel around and take jobs on ski resorts. And actually, what happened there?
Snow, not water.
Since
I can
there
see
we
you.
have a
I
lot
can-
of,
I'm struggling.
Manchester people watching here. I actually came, Bull and I and two other friends, we drove across country after I graduated, got back to Tennessee, I'd done some bartending before. I applied for some bartending jobs in Memphis, applied for some jobs in Nashville, didn't get hired anywhere, and I was at the football game with Gordon Cutill, and he was the high school football game, that is.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, man, I feel like I need to get out of town. And I said, well, we can do that. So I called this friend of mine that I'd been in school with, and I said, hey, Greg, this buddy and I, we kind of want to get out of town. What should we do? He said, well, drive to Utah, go to Salt Lake City, take a right, go up Little Cottonwood Canyon to a place called the Valhalla Lodge. Ask for Lena. Tell her to give you jobs. So we did that. We literally got in the car, drove to Utah.
Sounds like an Outback commercial.
Hell of a recommendation.
Well,
So we a medley.
yeah. So this guy who was in school with me, but he had started school later, so he was older than I was. He had been a ski bum, and he had met this girl in Europe, and then brought her to this town and introduced her for her first job there. So basically, she was just keeping the cycle going,
Wow.
And so we got there around noon, and I think by about 4 or 5 p.m. we were like in a hot tub. We had jobs. We had this resort. We had it set. So. So yeah,
Ask for Lena.
yeah, exactly.
At the Valhalla, a bunch of Vikings around there. You'll be fine. They don't sacrifice people at noon on Tuesdays. You're good. Yeah, wow,
That is a crazy, crazy story.
It is.
Yeah, you're good. You don't even have to go any further.
Yeah. Hey, good show, Tommy. That's it,
Thanks
man.
for stopping
Thanks for
by.
stopping by.
I did think it might be time for me to refill this beer.
Yeah, go ahead. Can you imagine what happened? Like if me or you would have done that, we'd have probably broke down in Arkansas for one.
True.
And we'd still be there somehow.
We'd be like pig farming.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you should have got a
Yeah. I mean,
Hey, maybe we fell in love with pig farming.
I really don't feel like we would have made it out
Jason
of Tennessee.
King.
I feel like we'd have broke down somewhere right on the outskirts.
Yeah,
right on
maybe
the
like
line.
Jackson or Memphis.
Probably like Camden.
Yeah. Oh, that's just crap. I've been there. It's bad.
Yeah.
Stayed a week there.
Go in a Waffle House.
Yeah, stayed a week there one night. It was bad.
We stayed a week there one night.
Yeah. Interesting thing. I think there was no GPS then, so we had to MapQuest or Rand McNally map it out.
Yeah, I had a map.
You
He was a
asked.
Stanford graduate. I feel like he could read a map at the time.
Well, I
Something's
couldn't. This is my
happened
first
along the way.
Facebook Live thing.
can't use his-
Okay, yeah, I'm not.
Something happened along the way.
I was there for Yahoo,
Yeah.
my first Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Something happened. I have no idea what it was.
Mark Anderton, Europeans are cool people.
Yeah.
Well, the two I know are.
Yeah.
So we're after you were chasing snow bunnies. What was next?
So that finished, and then I went to California. I went down to Mexico for a while with another guy from Manchester named Joseph Sherrill.
Joseph.
Justin Sherrill's brother. And then I was back in Tennessee. This is kind of an interesting story. So I was back in Tennessee. I was at MTSU at a party with Brad Riddle. I think Thomas White was there and some other people. Anyway, I met a girl from Switzerland. So so
Yeah, indeed.
we dated for a little while, and then she went back to Switzerland, and she said, "Oh, you should really come to Switzerland and spend the winter and be
okay.
a ski bum in Switzerland." And I said, "Yeah, okay." So
Oh, apparently you did.
Why not?
Why not?
well, no,
That's
this
what
is,
you do.
This is only the beginning of the story.
It gets better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I called her up. We were talking on the phone. She probably left in October, let's say. So, and I was leaving in December. So we talked about every week or so on the phone. It was like a big deal to talk on the phone back then. It was expensive.
Yes.
And so I called her up the day before I was leaving to sort of just arrange some details. I was actually going to Amsterdam first to connect to our earlier story with Billy Bob and Rachel,
Yeah.
who
Oh,
we
okay.
brought up,
Yep.
and also BJ, who took Bull down to the tunnels. So the four of us went to Amsterdam for Millennium New Year's. And I called this girl just before we left.
We went to
We went
Detroit.
to Detroit.
Yeah.
Pontiac.
Yeah. Beat that one, Clouse.
Hey, like now, Switzerland.
Imported from Detroit.
Yeah.
I was in junior high. I didn't
You
go
win
nowhere.
this story competition. Yeah.
She's like,
Congratulations.
I
I was on Napster.
I was playing Oregon Trail. All right, so you get to Amsterdam.
Oh well, no. So I called this girl to make a plan about where we're gonna meet and how we're gonna sort out the details. And she says, "I think you need to be careful about what you're gonna expect here." And anyway, long story short, we break up. So I now have no plan for what I'm gonna do going to Europe. So I do enjoy the New Year's with Billy Bob and Rachel and our friend BJ, and then, basically I had no real plan. So I just started asking around, calling people, seeing if anybody knew anyone who lived in the Alps. So I had one friend.
I wouldn't even know who to
Why
call.
the hell
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, I had one friend who
I feel like you should call
He-
Larry.
who sent me a message, and this was like pretty early in the days of email, but at least had email. He said, "Oh, I know this guy who lives over there, and this is what he looks like. No phone number, nothing." And,
Ask for him.
Big,
And
tall,
it-
blonde guy.
yeah. And
Blue
then
eyes.
our friend BJ that we were talking about before said, "Well, my former rugby coach's sister lives in the French Alps, so I can probably track down her phone number if you want." And I said, "Well, I have no other lead, so yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great, So anyway, he got her phone number, and ended up leaving Amsterdam, going to London, where I had a friend or two there, and I called my friend's former rugby coach's sister in the Alps and said, like, "Hey,
God.
As you
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
as you do.
yeah." So I said,
That's exactly the steps I would have taken.
the next logical step, right?
I think you just won points for fitting rugby in that sentence right there.
Yeah,
just alone.
Really?
We're not very smart, Tommy.
Yeah.
All I know is Joe Evershow said, and I quote,
Stop it. As soon as you say it, it's going to grow legs. If you leave it alone, it'll go away.
I don't care.
Except crabs. They will not.
Don't ignore it.
Yeah, don't ignore it.
Hey, is it
It's going to
laggy?
grow legs. If you don't say anything, it'll go away.
No, it is not laggy.
Okay.
Nope, we're good.
Oh, but damn.
All right.
Oh, who else said that?
So anyway, we're with the sisters rugby.
That's my line.
Oh yeah. So I was in London, and I called her up, and I said, "Hey, I want to work in the Alps. Do you have any recommendation?" And she said, "Well, you can probably get a job up here, but you can't get it from London." So I bought a bus ticket, and I went to the French Alps, and that was basically getting toward the end of the money that I had saved. So I got to the French Alps with not enough money to leave the French Alps.
€8.
This was pre-Euro day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were in franc. Yeah,
Franc.
yeah. So anyway, but luckily, my friend's former rugby coach's sister, she set me up with a friend of hers to stay for like a couple days, and then she just started asking around town, and I ended up getting hired by this family. They owned a restaurant and a hotel. The mother ran the restaurant, the husband ran the hotel, and they needed somebody to just hang out with their 10-year-old kid in the afternoon. So that's what they did, and that's what I did. I hung out with their kid for like a couple hours in the afternoon, and then they didn't pay me any money. They bought me a ski pass, though. So and they lived on the ski slope, so I could ski I'd ski all morning. Then I would have this world-class lunch at the restaurant. Then I would study French in the afternoon. Then I would meet this kid, and we'd hang out for a few hours, and have a nice dinner. And that was like my life. But I had no money for stuff like soap. And when I would go out to a bar, I would just buy. You could buy a
Hey,
half
Tim.
pint, and I would just hold it. I wouldn't drink it. I would just just sip on it real slow because it needed it to last the whole night. But anyway, yeah. So I started doing that first, but great lifestyle. Then I started doing another job for the radio station where I was recording these commercials in English, and so. They also didn't pay me any money, but instead they gave
Recurring
me
theme here, Tommy.
Yeah. Instead they gave me passes to all the events in town. So like I was going to champagne receptions for classical quartets and stuff, but I still couldn't buy soap. It was ridiculous. And eating in this nice restaurant and skiing all day, and it was pretty ridiculous. But yeah, then eventually toward the end of the ski season, I got a job for a while in a hotel. Believe it or not, working the front desk and answering phones in French. Yeah. So,
je ne sais pas. Je ne sais pas.
Yeah.
That means I don't know.
Really, all I remember is
done.
Hôtel Les Trois Vallées, bonjour. And then it was just like a lot of information I didn't get. And it'd be like, okay, yeah.
See.
Something like that. Yeah.
C is British for yet.
That's British for you.
Yeah.
Yes, gosh. So then that finished up. I wandered around Europe for a long time. I went down the Riviera,
Carrie.
Spain. Jesus Christ. And luckily, after working on this ski resort, these people that worked there were from all over the country. So I just went around visiting friends for several months before I went down to Spain for a while, and then ended up landing in Paris for the summer and working for a company there for a while. Yeah.
Query.
Yeah.
Not statement.
Statement.
What I've learned is if you graduate from Stanford, you ain't got to do shit. But you ain't going to have soap.
You will be dirty, but you have a hell of a time.
Yeah.
Fun having son of a gun.
Yeah. You get all these opportunities, but none of them come with money
Yeah.
Or soap.
or soap.
I don't
So-
know that any of those opportunities were particularly contingent on going to Stanford.
What's the networking?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, without a doubt.
Networking that you.
The networking was all done at the ski resort.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a different
So-
kind of networking. Yeah.
Up to this-
And at Reno.
Up to this time, it seems like you've had a pretty boring life, Tommy. Like you really.
I know.
Yeah, I'm not even
much.
past my early 20s yet.
Oh
I
damn.
haven't heard him mention Gatlinburg once.
It's good to save some things for later. Like you don't want to. You don't want to.
You ever been in a hot
expend
tub
all
and seen a bear?
like an animal bear or a bear, human bear?
Animal bear.
Okay, I didn't know which resort you were at.
Good to clarify. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Different part of Pigeon Forge there. Right?
It is.
I was in Gatlinburg.
Oh, my bad. Okay, all right.
Yeah, you're.
He just said that to rub it in.
Suburban.
Gets lonely in suburban. Yeah.
That's bad. Hatfield knew where it was.
Of course.
You guys.
So you end up in France for the summer, and you went to Riviera, and where else did it take you? Where haven't you
After your
been?
Early 20s. What happened next?
Gatlinburg, apparently.
Mid-20s.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, this is getting toward mid. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So I spent the summer in Paris. I ended up painting trucks with a guy from Iran for extra money. I don't know
Again,
if
as
that's how
you
it
do.
happened.
As you do.
As one does. Yeah.
You got it auto sales?
Excuse me. Then
Come help pay the truck.
We won't give you no money, but I'll give you soap.
I give you beer and falafel. Beer and falafel.
so let's see. Yeah. So anyway, I had a cousin getting married in California. I left
Jeffer
there.
Vickers.
Went to California. Then, I worked a couple jobs at the same time. Saved some more money. But then, for a few different reasons. One, because I had an interview with the Foreign Service, which I didn't get, but I ended up flying to Washington, D.C., not getting this job, and I ended up back in Manchester, and I was working at maybe at MTech or like somewhere like that for a while.
Right.
It was a little bit of a rough transition.
Took you a
from
break.
the French Riviera
Yeah.
to
MTech, yeah.
to MTech, or I can't
Some
remember if
type
it
of
was
industry.
MTech. It was one of the. It was the
MTech.
one that used to do 4 shifts, 10 hours.
Volunteer?
might have been volunteer. Yeah, I think it was volunteer. Yeah. So
Can
it was
I
like
interrupt
4
you
days a
real
week.
quick?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad Davis is watching.
Oh,
Oh, hey,
hey,
Brad.
David.
Hey,
Brad
Brad.
Davis.
Hello, Elena
I've seen
Lineberger.
that guy in a long time. Or Elena. Yeah.
Joe Evershow wants to know if you ever been to Dubai.
No, I have
What?
not. No.
Shocker.
Yeah,
Lost that bet.
It's a big
Motion
stopping point
flurry.
for a whole lot of people going over to Asia.
Yeah, I've seen pictures
Yeah.
on the
Pretty
TV.
wild,
Look at all those
place, what I
emotions.
know.
Like it.
Man, you're
Uh,
who's wearing the emotion flurries out? Oh
I
my
asked for
god!
an emotion
Nice.
flurry of who's having a good time.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, good. Yeah. Awesome.
So we,
So, I'm trying to speed things up here. Yeah. So
Oh, dude, you're good. We're
Yeah.
I'm.
I brought a Red Bull. I heard you were interested.
We're only 42 minutes in. You're
Yeah,
good.
Eli had nodded off
We're
once.
just getting
That's
warmed
it.
up. We're only in our early 20s.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
We got a long way to go. We're like,
Yeah.
That's like the never-ending story.
We got 2
Yeah.
decades to go.
Yeah, you're what, 42-ish, 43-ish?
I am 43.
If you have to think that hard about it, bro, you've had a lot more fun in life than I have.
Well,
Already,
in my mind, I'm pretty much.
He's probably got me. So
As I say, I don't celebrate birthdays. I just celebrate anniversaries of my 12th birthday.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump on board with that.
Yeah.
I turned 12 several years back. It's my 13th anniversary of being 12.
Math.
23rd.
So you're potato years old? Sorry, go ahead.
Let's go. That's it. So we leave volunteer engineering. Where,
So I was there for a little while. Actually, then I was putting. I did have a short stint putting gaskets on caskets at Batesville. That was
Look how you rhyme.
that's a rite of passage.
That's a
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss job.
Yeah.
The gaskets on caskets. And then I ended up. My sister was living down in Atlanta. I went down to Atlanta just because I thought if I'm going to work temp jobs, I'd make more money down there. Stayed on her couch. Got a job. I was also working at a Mexican restaurant. Got a job from somebody there,
That's a
a
feat
customer.
As itself right there.
At a finance company. So I started doing some financial work, and then I started making more money. So I saved some money. Went to visit our old friend BJ that we've mentioned several times, who was living in Fiji making surfboards.
Yeah.
So-
So here's a Stanford graduate of engineering who went to Fiji to pipe in water and make surfboards.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
we went there to pipe. Yeah,
yeah.
went there to pipe in water.
Drag and
ended up
lag
making
and-
surfboards. Later made furniture.
Married a local.
Later made a couple half Fijians. Yeah,
Yeah.
with his wife.
And he
Bring
was
back
originally
Fijians.
from Wyoming,
Yeah.
and now him and the Fijians are back in Wyoming.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
know.
correct?
Yeah,
Yep.
they're back there. Yep.
Wow,
Yeah. So then I was in Fiji for 3 or 4 months.
I'm getting jet lagged just hearing the story.
Yeah.
you gotta
Beautiful
remember-
place, by the way, Fiji. Incredible place.
Well, and here's the
Yeah.
whole thing is like the build up, like what he failed to mention out is like the only reason he stayed here and had all those jobs is because he was saving up as much money as he could to go on a worldwide beer drinking tour. That was every time I bumped in, I was like, "How's it going?" He's like, "Man, I'm just here till I got enough money to decide where the hell I'm going next."
And he ended up at the beer drinking capital of the world, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well,
Tonight.
apparently only 10 feet. Only 10 feet
Only
from the
10
beer
feet
drinking
from it,
capital.
right here.
You're
of
gonna
the
save
world.
a ton of cash.
Come here. Yeah.
That's it. You're here. You are
For
here.
$2 in gas, you could
Well, you
would have
know,
been done.
sometimes
Soap,
it take-
moisturizer.
yeah.
You could have had it all.
Beard bombs.
Beard bombs.
Yeah, well,
Beer.
sometimes it takes a while, to find out what was underneath your
That's
nose
true.
all along. Actually, this is a T.S. Eliot quote. Since we throw some culture in here, he said the end of all our traveling will be to arrive from the place where we started and know it for the first time. Sorry, I think that's not exactly the quote. But let me.
I get the gist.
Yeah, the gist is you travel around, you come back to where you're from, and you know it in a way that you didn't know before. That was a T.S. Eliot quote. So I tried to throw that cultural bit in,
To prove
just
that he
for the
went
heck
to
of
college.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because so far
Just
there's
telling
no
you, bro.
evidence. Yeah.
That philosophy degree wasn't just printed off. He earned it. He earned
Well,
it.
and this show is steeped in culture.
Yeah, no, yeah. I didn't.
I have the quote. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. So, yeah, exactly what you said.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Congratulations, graduate.
Yeah. Thank God, that was money well spent. Gosh. So, where was I? Fiji, then,
I had to write this
back
shit
in
down. I can never remember
California. I need to write this stuff down. I'm going to forget it.
You should write a freaking book.
I know,
One day
yeah.
I can say, where was I? Fiji. Yeah. Fiji.
Circus 2002.
Where was I at? Oh, yeah, Gatlinburg.
Evansville, Indiana. That's where I was at.
I was in Muncie. Yeah. Or Santa Claus, Indiana.
Holiday World.
Oh, I just got one.
That's Eli loves Santa Claus, Indiana.
I do.
I think so.
But Superman Town Metropolis.
Metropolis. That's in Illinois.
Illinois.
That's close enough.
It's loud up
Aren't
there.
they like right there?
You don't have to put it in there. It's done.
It is.
Illinois. It's loud because it's Illinois.
All right, where are we at next here? Where in the world
Okay.
is Tommy Clouse?
Yeah. So
Where in the world?
Fiji. Then I was back in California for a little while, and excuse me. And then I ended up back on a ski resort in California.
Big Bear?
That's
the only one I
No,
know.
but just north of Big Bear,
Okay.
called Mammoth Mountain.
It's the only one I know of. Big Bear.
Actually, with another Manchester person, well, a couple more. Andrea Northcutt ended up coming out there.
Mhm.
And then she came out with Rachel and Billy Bob. They came for New Year's, brought some moonshine for all of the ski bums, which
Oh,
was
yeah.
a great experience for everyone. And then Andrea ended up staying for the whole ski season. And so, yeah, a lot of Manchester threads through
Yeah,
this
man,
story.
that's-
And then and then after that, I went to China, and that's a pretty big chapter.
And you stayed there like a pretty good while, did you not?
Yeah, I was based in China for 8 years. So I went.
Well, and it's a unique. I mean, you left out Ireland there, but you also, you left out Ireland, but
My bad. I forgot Ireland.
Yeah.
well, no, it's like
Bulls had his own adventures.
here's the whole thing is like I got like,
Ireland, man.
Tommy inspired me, and that's when we got two people who inspired me to go. Travis, of course. So Tommy, he was going all these places, and Travis was the one that got me to Australia, and then I was gonna continue to travel the world, and I never did. So Tommy was talking about it, and I was like trying to plan my shit out, and then of course I got lost in Missouri.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I got stuck in Joplin. So, but anyway,
It's about Tommy, so you're good.
We've heard your
I
stories.
forgot all
Bull.
about that. But anyway, so Tommy, once again, I was, he was telling me the
What's up,
story.
JC?
And him in Ireland, and also the reason, and it wasn't 100% of the reason, but one of the reasons why he was going to stay in China is I thought was extremely unique as well. The Chinese philosopher that you were going to read.
Confucius?
Well,
I am.
He was Vietnamese.
I was just gonna, not to get too far off point, I was just gonna back up really quickly. You mentioned about going to Stanford and the cultural shock, or the experience of going there. One of the big things is that got me into traveling, which is then I was back at things like the field parties with Bull, and we started doing trips like to New Orleans for the weekend, which was an amazing trip that we took. And that's kind of like, for both of us, I think,
Where it started.
how things got started with the travels that we did.
That is correct.
So to go back to Bull's question there.
Well, no, I mean, go ahead, since you went there. Like, we were all drunk the night before, and it was an idea to go to New Orleans the next day because it was Fat Tuesday. So we spent from...
That's how most trips to New Orleans start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're drunk. Hey, Fat Tuesday, let's go.
Yeah, so tell it. Like, yeah, we were rallying people for... What?
Yeah, it was almost like a social experiment, because it was only a plan that Misty Reed and I we were
that's my
working
cousin.
together. Oh yeah, so we were working together. We were thinking about going to Memphis with a couple friends, and we said, why don't we just go to New Orleans instead?
Yeah, that's way better.
And then we just
better
kind of
choice.
this was like Wednesday,
Yep.
and by Friday we had a dozen people who all just kind of like some of them showed up just to say goodbye and ended up going on the trip with us. You know what I mean? So anyway,
I will interrupt this. I was never asked to go, so piss on both of you.
well, fair enough,
I
but
feel
it's,
like
it's
somewhere
not too
along-
late. Yeah.
I don't think
There
Eli
might be
was
a trip
asked.
coming. Yeah.
I wouldn't have went.
That's true. That's very true.
So let's not graze over Ireland because I would like
Yeah,
to
I'd
hear
like to
just
know
a
about
skosh of that.
Okay, well,
Really stick here.
this is again backing up a little bit, but and again going back to this thing
Jason
about
Patton.
meeting people from different parts of the world. You know, when I was in school in
Yes,
California and I met these
yes.
people from all over the world, I thought I need to go somewhere and travel. You know, I mean, all of these people had traveled around and done cool things. And I thought I need to do something like that.
Angle it up.
And I really like Irish bars. So I thought I'm gonna go to Ireland. There's no language thing. There's
Right,
no,
yeah, oh, yeah.
no
It's too close, but
Move it out.
issues, and people like to sit around and have beers and talk. So the first place I ever went traveling by myself was Ireland. And it was actually after the same summer, or it was like not too long after we'd gone to New Orleans,
Right.
that I went to Ireland. And
Now, and one thing I've noticed about, not to interrupt, but
Yeah.
Irish bars, it seems what I've seen like in documentary stuff, they look like a house, like in a village.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a
they-
house. No, there's a peeb out there. Maybe means it's a pub, or there's a sign.
yeah,
It doesn't look like a building like here. Oh, that's a bar. It just it just blends in, and it looks. I think the inside of Irish pubs, I would love to go to one.
That was shimmy.
They look
yeah,
great.
yeah. I mean, and there's a very much a culture, a pub culture, where you know you're there and everyone's
Gretchen.
just talking and hanging out, and so it was a very comfortable place to travel alone because you never had to worry about having the opportunity to talk to other people. Sometimes like you had to put effort out to not talk to people if
Right.
you didn't want to, because inevitably someone would just start chatting, and so it was a great place to.
Lee Cox, Scott McClanahan.
Oh,
I got you,
nice.
Jason.
Yeah, so that's
So,
the story
ha-
on Ireland.
I
Yeah,
couldn't
kidding.
like travel, but I can't go to Logan's by
Bathroom.
myself.
Yeah.
I know I got a bathroom by myself. Yeah, I got to take my shirt off and stuff. I can't do that with
That's
somebody.
Yeah.
But-
I love to go places by myself and just.
I can't-
randomly
I
meet
do.
people.
She does too.
too.
I can't. I got to have
Love
somebody
it.
to talk to.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, you know, this is one that on, and I felt like I'm in Ireland. I need to do something, but I don't feel well. I'm not sure what to do. Of course, this is probably bad for the other people that were on this bus. But I just waited for a bus. I got on the bus, and I did the whole bus route and got off the same place where I got on. And it was just nice to, like, didn't take any energy or anything. It was just like a public bus, not a tourist bus or
Right.
anything, to just, like, go around and just sort of see the whole thing. And I thought, this is one thing you would never, ever do with anybody.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because you can't just, you know, you have expectations when you're traveling with someone. You have
That's
like
true.
a little bit of pressure. When you're on your own, you can really just sort of
Sit on a bus all day.
yeah, you can sit on a bus all day, or you can you can take a hike, you can turn around, you can do whatever you like, and then you know you also have this sort of unpredictable factor, which is you never know when a very quiet day will suddenly like that turn into something incredible with the people that you meet, you know, or even not the people you meet.
Right.
Maybe a great hike, and you get to some beautiful place, and you're just there on your own.
Hey,
but it's
Rich.
great, yeah.
Uh,
So, yeah, it's
Oh,
it's.
I don't like
I
this
think it's worth
conversation.
doing. Yeah,
going-
I love it. I love being alone and
Yeah.
exploring by myself because you're right. You just get to follow your feet
yeah.
and do
yeah.
whatever you want.
I mean, I obviously also like hanging out with people, so
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I like
Yeah.
both.
For myself, I'm like watching
there are-
TV or
there are
Sure,
something.
nothing
positive
wrong with being
parts,
social, but I get
yeah,
what you're
yeah,
saying.
right. But there are some, I don't know if the word's advantages, but some attractions about traveling on your own. There's
Yeah.
much less pressure, and
Yeah.
and you're also more open to
opportunity.
different opportunities and different things that come along, and
She's
just
not
sort
trying
of
to please
pick you up.
anybody else. It's
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
want.
About
Yeah,
you.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Very selfish, if you ask me.
That's why I
Yeah.
like it. I really like myself. I like myself a lot.
Yeah, that's why I like it.
And if you're traveling alone, it's hard to not be self-absorbed because you don't really have anybody else to think
If I was
about.
going
You know?
to travel with anyone, I would travel with myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Just
love
saying.
traveling with me. I do as well.
Theo say crap.
I love me some me.
Right.
So, back to the China. You were there. You said for 8 years.
8 years. Yep.
So did you? Where all did you go in China? Did you travel? You know, like to other Asian countries other than China
Yeah.
while you were there?
Yeah. So I went to China first.
Well, first I got to. Can you ask for another beer in Chinese, please?
Well, 我还要一瓶啤酒，还是一杯，就是一杯啤酒。
Ah, damn, that takes too long.
You just made
Una
every bit
cerveza.
of
That's why I love the Spanish people.
No, so everything in
Tsingtao.
Una más cerveza, por favor.
I'm just trying to think. I don't know how you ask for fancy beer. Like, China, because they don't really have as much fancy beer. But
What's up, Larry Brown?
Why is Hatfield on right now? He needs to be on with Tommy. He's hilarious.
So what we could do
and
is
the beer
like
drinking capital.
And he is,
He is the beer drinking
we could film
capital.
a reality show where Hatfield and Klaus go around traveling and drinking beer and shit.
Well,
I love
that'd be
Richie
pretty
being
fun.
Yeah,
himself.
Camille's probably all in on that.
Probably back in my suitcase.
Everyday Joshua had a great idea.
Well,
Alimony's.
how are you tonight, Larry?
Hello, Larry.
So where else did you go while you was in China?
So I went there. I worked at a summer camp for about a month or two. They paid for my ticket over there. Then
No
money. Then I went traveling around for. While I was there, I started looking for jobs teaching. So I got a job teaching, and it was lined up to start in a month later or something. So I went traveling around for a month. Went to Tibet. Actually took a 50-hour bus ride over the Himalayas into
Holy
Tibet.
cow, dude!
Oh,
Quite
that's awesome.
insane. And then
That was
and it-
probably a less relaxing bus ride than the previous one.
it's a rough one because you go through like 15,000 foot
Feet of
passes.
elevation, yeah.
So everyone gets sick.
Oh yeah.
Like the whole bus, and you can't. They'll stop for like a bathroom break, and you get to the door of the bus, and you have to sit down and rest.
Yeah, to
And you like
reacclimate.
walk to the bathroom door and sit down and rest. And then,
Oh, kind of like we did when we went to Denver. We were like, "Whew, God, man!"
Man, that
I
8,000
remember
feet.
that. I was fine.
But it's probably like
I was lighter than air.
it's probably like three times the altitude of Denver. More or less.
Yeah, I couldn't have made it. No.
Anyway, then I taught school in a small town by Chinese standards. I mean, probably like 300,000, 400,000 people.
Were you teaching English?
Yeah,
Town.
teaching English. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't feel like they neided your help with the math as much.
Not as much. No. More on the English
Mulberry.
part. Yeah. Actually, this is one thing I really love about China. Like sometimes you go to a store and like let's say it's $2.54 or something, and you give them $3.04 so you can get 2 quarters back.
Mm-hmm.
And the cashier just looks at you like, "Why did you give me 4 cents?"
Right. I love
That
that.
never
Donald
happens in
does-
China.
really?
Like
Yeah.
they just know. They know why you want change.
There's no confusion.
Wherever you go, they understand why you want the change that you want.
And then they don't like mess it up and give you 5 dimes.
No.
They don't use abacus or anything. They just,
Whatever.
there you go.
Yeah. You can put it in the bubblegum machine.
So I spent a year in this relatively small town teaching English. Then I again went traveling around, and I was thinking about maybe leaving China. I spent 3 or 4 months traveling around, and then got an email message from a friend in Beijing who said, "Hey, check out these jobs. Check out these jobs in Beijing." So one of them was for an English editor for a magazine. So it's a Chinese magazine, but they're looking for someone to edit their English website.
Right.
So I applied for the job, got the job, ended up moving to Beijing. Again, this is an interesting story. So I don't know if anyone remembers this was in 2003. There was something called SARS.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
this
Wear the
epidemic
mask.
all over China, right? So I applied for this job in late 2003, and I got hired. This magazine, as it turns out, had broken the story about SARS earlier in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
So when they reported on this story, it wasn't sure what the Chinese government was going to do. Were they going to were they going to go after? We're going to go after the journalists or go after the people in Beijing who were hiding some of the sick people?
Right.
And the government decided that they would come down on the Beijing people or the people that were hiding on the government. So in other words, this magazine got to be really famous right before I started working there. So I started working there without any understanding of any of this, and suddenly every time any foreign business person, professor, journalist, diplomat was in town, they wanted to meet with the editor of this magazine,
Hey,
and she would
Amber.
always bring me along as the token foreigner. So I got to be in all of these insane meetings with all these incredible people, with this editor who's still a good friend of mine, who's arguably the most famous journalist in China, at least in some respects.
Oh, wow.
And it all just happened from an internet ad that I was lucky enough to respond to. And so
Buy me a lottery ticket, please. Shit.
Yeah. Just randomly pick them, Tommy.
The longer I sit here, the more I realize how much I fucked my life.
Andy Elda.
I mean, I have the most amazing children on earth, but that's
That's it. That's all you got.
glory be to Kim and the kids. I got 4 things right. Took 37 years to get it. Holy crap!
And happy birthday, by the way, to
Hey,
Tooth.
thanks,
Yes,
guys.
happy
You're
birthday.
welcome.
Happy
Cheers.
birthday.
Andy Elda, how you feeling, buddy?
happy anniversary of your 12th birthday.
Thank you very much.
So,
It's the 23rd anniversary of my 12th birthday.
Yeah, one of those numbers.
now Gordon, he was over there in China. Well, he was in China when you were there.
Yeah.
Did y'all, I'm sure y'all hung out.
Oh
and
yeah.
everything.
No. So after I'd been in China for a few years, during which time some interesting things happened that we can maybe come back to. But anyway, Gordon, I was back in Tennessee, and Gordon was about to graduate. So he'd come home from the ski resort. He'd moved to Knoxville in with his brother. He'd gone to Pellissippi State, transferred into UT, then got accepted to the design school, and graduated with a degree in graphic design. So he was on the verge of graduating, and I was living in China, and he said, I'm not sure what I'm going to do when I graduate. I said, well, come to China, you know. And so he said, all right, I'll do it. So basically he graduated.
Why not?
Yeah.
He worked for like
What's
a
up,
month
Ben?
or two to save some money, and then he moved to China. And so he moved there, and
What's up, Hatler?
yeah, so he lived on my couch for a while, and then and he was kind of like trying to figure out what to do. For a while, he was working for a Russian fashion designer. We
In China.
Oh, yeah.
In China. Yep.
Did they
Yeah.
pay-
As you do, of course.
Yeah.
As you do.
They pay
As
him?
you
Did
do.
they pay him in soap? Or
well, yeah, I'm not sure how
Can't
that
speak for
particular
that.
deal worked out. He
No, we
he
can't talk about
was one of his early and random
the
jobs
machine.
was as an extra in Kite Runner. He was in that movie Kite Runner for about 1 second.
Gordon was?
Yeah, Gordon was. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if you see, there's some scene where there's like some Taliban guys and the gates are opening and closing.
Yeah.
He's one of those Taliban guys.
Poor Gordon. Hey, y'all, you remember that movie, Baby Boy? I was in that movie. You know the scene where Tyrese is on the front porch? And Baby Boy? Well, I was in the house.
Oh yeah.
I was in the movie though.
Yeah.
Extras.
Yeah.
Extras.
I didn't get
Yeah.
John Meacham. What's up, buddy?
I love him.
We still got some of your salsa. Well, there ain't much left of it, but we may need refills.
I'm gonna need some more bologna and kibasa.
Yeah. Talk to me.
Bologna.
John Meacham was at a few of those parties
Was he?
today.
Hello,
Yeah.
Jeremy Taylor.
I just found 6 degrees.
Yep.
Can I make you who?
I told you.
Tommy Clouse.
I told you he knew everybody.
No shit.
She's like, "Who's Tommy?" I was like, and I told her. I was like, and she said something like, "Oh, he knows everybody." She's like, "I said, do you think we all know everybody?" No, this guy knows everybody. It's fine.
I'm surprised we don't know each other.
How many
Yeah,
languages do
well,
you
we do
speak?
now. Well, depends if you mean speak well or not.
How many languages?
Pretty.
How many languages
You can speak
can you
them
get a
better
beer
than
in?
What's that?
How many languages can you get a beer in?
Oh. That's a lot. Or like the first thing you learn. No, but I speak Chinese and Spanish fairly well. I used to speak French. Kind of forgot a lot of that.
Oh, hey, Tommy, if
Spoke
you're not
some
paying
Portuguese.
attention, John Meacham said hello specifically
Oh,
to you.
good. Yeah.
Oh, so screw the rest of us, right? Thanks, Meacham.
Yeah, he always calls everybody beautiful, except especially you, Eli.
I plugged your salsa and everything.
Travis
Travis
Kelly
O'Kelly.
said hi.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
We jinxed.
What was I talking about there?
The languages you can order
Oh,
beer.
language.
You had said
Yeah.
you'd forgotten most of the French, but
Yeah. I also I learned some Portuguese. I was in Brazil for a while.
Yeah, why not?
Did learn a little bit of Indonesian once. I was in Indonesia for a while. Yeah.
It's going to be a two-part show here.
Joke.
Tommy, don't go to the country for a little while. Come back.
Netflix is gonna call this guy and do like a whole
No shit.
documentary.
Have you seen the was break off subject for 1 second? There was a documentary. I can't remember the name of it. There's two Canadian guys. They started out as they've been
Terrence
everywhere.
and Phillip.
Nah.
No,
Oh, hey.
Sound like a Dirty Fault.
they've been here, been there, but they've never seen their home country of Canada. So they took a road trip across Canada, and saw this and saw that, which was pretty neat. So then I guess Netflix wanted to do a season 2, so they sent them around the freaking world.
Yeah.
And they went, to the Himalayas and
Oh, it
China and Japan and everything. And it was like, man,
Laos.
yes,
Yeah.
they did,
Laos.
I hear they're lousy with crabs over there.
huh?
I'll tell you as a little plug for Laos.
Yeah.
I always say Laos is like the Tennessee of Asia. It is amazing. I love it there. They have like dollar bottles of whiskey.
Oh yeah.
They
Like
have
Fort
very
Calvert
good
and
local
shit?
beer. They have lots of river. They have no coastline. They have lots of rivers and forest and rope swings and just like people hanging out. It's
Well,
an amazing place.
There's a
It is.
lot of
Yeah.
Laotians in Tennessee too.
I know,
Murfreesboro.
yeah.
Oh, gosh,
Jets.
yes. Murfreesboro. God.
Absolutely.
Benny and the Jets?
Yeah, yeah.
Shelbyville
Yeah.
as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
They got the temple in Murfreesboro, and I mean, they throw down.
What's up, Jay Norman?
Yeah.
They throw down.
Yeah, it's a very, I mean, from my experience in Laos, it's like a very fun, welcoming, open culture of really fun people.
Yes.
Yeah, in Murfreesboro, they listen to a lot of gangster rap
Yeah, well,
and have attitudes.
So you should like travel the world again. Take a camera crew with you, and you get
Or
on Netflix.
GoPro.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
get on Netflix, man. No
They,
problem.
they didn't have GoPros.
I know people.
Whatever.
I'll talk
Then
with
I
them.
need to start over.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
cow, dude!
I don't know.
Could
I
you
don't know if I
do it
can
again,
start over.
Tommy, do it
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy in Nashville these days.
So now, Gordon, did he not start a few restaurants over there?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's where we were. Yeah. So Gordon, after being in the Kite Runner, it was kind of funny because another friend also came out, and he and I sort of left and went to Vietnam or somewhere for a month or two. And we just left Gordon on the couch. It's like, good luck, Gordon. And I remember on the plane, our buddy Ben, who our mutual friend, said, "This time is going to make or break Gordon." And I said, "Yeah, I know." And so when we came back, that's when he did the Kite Runner movie.
Yeah.
He sort of like made a new group of friends, and then he started teaching. Spent a year or two teaching kindergarten.
What?
Yeah, so Gordon was teaching kindergarten for a while,
Wow.
and then
Hey, sissy.
Hey,
and I
sissy.
think I'm biased, of course, but from what I hear, he was very good at it. And then eventually the bar where he used to hang out a lot.
Yeah.
They were looking for a new manager, and without knowing that he had a lot of experience as a manager in Knoxville before he ever moved there, they ended up hiring him, and so he did a great job there. And then the same group ended up opening several restaurants. So he went through the whole process of opening and running these restaurants for several years, and to the point that I don't know if he's proud of this, but I'm proud of this. When he left Beijing, which I think it was 2015, the local English language magazine did a little write up on famous expats leaving Beijing, and Gordon was on the list.
Oh, wow.
I remember seeing that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see
Yeah.
that. That's cool.
Yeah, he was definitely a
Good for
big
Gordon.
personality in the foreign scene in Beijing.
Well, good for
Wow.
Gordon.
That's awesome.
That's awesome for Gordon.
Yeah. Wow.
What's up, Steve Bear? So
That's awesome for American foreign relations.
yeah, especially in China. I mean,
That's the
'cause-
first time anyone's ever said Gordon is awesome for American foreign relations. That's great. Yeah.
Hello, Erica.
I mean, it's probably true. It's just not.
Do you know Gordon personally?
I don't personally know.
You know who he is,
I
though?
know who he is.
Yeah.
He's something else.
That guy's name's like as big as Bob Barker's in my history. Like I've heard that name a lot.
No, yeah, Gordon. He's
Oh,
something
he's a
else.
character. Oh my goodness.
Got Bites of Europe. Erica chiming in. What's up, girl?
Hello, Kim Martin. Glory be to you.
So we spent some time in China.
Oh yeah.
Did you go to like Australia or New Zealand or something? Or?
No, actually, I've never been to Australia or New Zealand.
Oh, you got one up on him, bull.
Have you been to Spain?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Well, hey, wait. Well, we'll talk about the way he made a vacation back to home while he was in China because Tommy forgot to look across the street and got ran over by a truck.
Yeah, this is a longer story.
You can make it condensed.
Let's abridge.
Yeah, this is what happened from the part where I skipped up to where Gordon arrived. So you may hear these stories about like in China, sometimes they hire foreign people to go to events just to be foreign people because they just like need
Tourism.
some white face, not tourism. They need just some white faces in like a business meeting or something. You know what I mean? Like they
Right.
want to say
Show
like
that diversity.
they say like, "Hey, Eli, just sit here and don't say anything, and we're gonna negotiate this business deal."
Eli gets that a
And
lot.
just the fact that you're here and that you do a better
I'll do
job
this.
keeping your beard trimmed, you know, you're gonna like project some kind of international presence, you know. So
Kim
I
Brown.
had an experience like this where this town in China
Bless
they
you.
were going to have an international trade fair, but they had no international people coming. So this PR firm in Beijing said like, "Hey, at all of all events, I was at a poetry reading, and some guy says like."
There's no way. No way.
When he said that, I'm sorry, but when he said poetry reading, I instantly went to "So I Married an Axe Murderer." Where Mike Myers is like, "So." I don't know. That's what I'm
It
thinking.
was pretty much like that. Yeah, so at this poetry reading, the guy says, "Hey," well, one of my friends says, "Hey, Tom, come over here and listen to this." So I come over and sit down, and this guy says, "Hey, this company's looking for some people to go to this town and go to this trade fair, and doesn't pay any money, but it's a free ticket, free train ticket, free hotel. You can go down here and just have an experience."
No soap.
So I said, "Okay, sure." So I went down there, and so we took the overnight train, got there in the morning, went to this trade fair, and then after the trade fair, we were sort of hanging out with, there was a couple other foreign folks that went down there, and also my girlfriend at the time, who was from Taiwan. We were down there, and we took a walk around, and there was a little art market across the street. So he said, "Oh, let's go check that out." So walking across the street, and on one side, it's like bike lane, another bike lane, and to get around the traffic while I'm in the street. So I see the truck driver sees me. We kind of have this thing like, okay, what's going to happen here?
And you lose.
We kind of
Well,
who's going to stop first?
To be fair,
we were playing chicken in Beijing.
I mean, the truck was totaled. I think technically I won. It's like Rocky 2, where Sylvester Stallone gets up and Apollo Creed stays down. I'm just saying.
Excellent.
For this show, way to make it relatable. Way to make it relatable. Very good. Very good.
So,
What's up, farmer?
Anyway, so this truck hit me, and so
It's nothing.
yeah, the truck hits me.
Whatever.
Well, he's up. How were you? Did you make it?
It was close. Yeah. I don't know.
It's still
You tell me.
Did you die? Did you die, bro?
He's a philosopher. You ask him the wrong question, man.
It's still hit and miss.
Yeah, so this truck hit me. They hit a motorcycle was in the bike lane. They hit the guy on the motorcycle. They hit the curb. Truck went up in the air, came down, and I was still under the truck there. And so, luckily, amazing piece of luck. One of the guys, this foreign guy that's from Massachusetts, white dude from Massachusetts, he'd been a mountain climbing guide. As part of that, he'd done paramedic training. His dad was a doctor, and he was fluent in Chinese. And not just normal Chinese, but like medical Chinese.
Son?
That's handy.
Yeah, talk about
That's handy.
right
I mean,
there.
yeah, that's handy right
So
there.
yeah, so basically he was better trained than all of the paramedics that showed up. Yeah. So anyway, they eventually recruited enough people to move the truck off of me, and then
That was nice of them.
Yeah, they took. Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, we go down the rabbit hole on this, but China has no good Samaritan law, so there's no protection for people who help other people. So it's much more difficult to get people to help.
They don't want to be involved.
Yeah, don't want to be involved because as soon as they're involved, they're potentially legally liable.
Right, gotcha.
So it was actually, it's frustrating, but it's also based on some reasons. Got to the hospital. Then at the hospital, they didn't want to treat me because they thought, well, one, because I couldn't put down a deposit, and they just thought it was wasted money. But eventually, the mayor called or showed up or something and said, treat this guy. So they decided to treat me. And
that was really nice of him.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, we take it for granted, but it is a law here in the U.S. If you go to the emergency room, they will treat you, and it's regardless, and they don't have that in China. So you get to the emergency room and they're like, we're not going to waste our money on this guy,
Holy cow.
So anyway, they did a bunch of X-rays. They still, it took them a while to figure out what exactly was going wrong and what they needed to do. But I did one surgery for 12 hours, during which time they set a bunch of different bones, as well as reconnected a nerve in my arm.
Damn, dude.
Came out of that surgery for a few hours and then had further problems with my heart suddenly. Went back into surgery. They realized that I'd punctured my lung. Put in like a tube, all this stuff. So anyway, when I wake up from all these surgeries, I'm basically, everything except for my right arm is in a cast. And, well, not my head, I guess. So, yeah. So my head, and, of course, at that time I had really long hair. And so everything was in a cast except for my right arm and my head. So I told these guys, so this is another thing that's crazy about China. A lot of the big government buildings are just on a set schedule in terms of their heating and cooling.
Right.
This happened September 5th, and they had a rule that they turned off all the AC September 1st. And it was like an Indian summer type thing.
Oh, my God.
So it was super hot, and I was totally covered in cast. Here.
That's
And
horrible.
So, yeah, it was horrible. So just like in a pool of sweat all the time, right? So one of the first things I told the guys, like the nurse, I said, can you just find a barber on the street? Tell him to come up here and shave my head. Because there's no way to wash it anyway.
Right.
I had this long blonde hair.
Let him give you
I
soap.
got a barber up there who just shaved it all off. And so anyway, I spent a month there in intensive care. They had thought initially about a life flight out, but they thought it was I wouldn't make it to the life flight. Then once I was out of the surgeries, because I had all these loose bones, especially in here, that they were worried that some of those loose bones would shift around and hit an organ. So they just said, let's just leave him here. So I spent a month there, spent a month in Beijing.
And you were resting on wheatgrass held together with bamboo during this time.
With incense burning and no. Well, there's so many crazy facets to this story, but I'll tell you one very quickly, which is when they decided to take me to Beijing, they strapped me to like a big plank, and it was a stretcher, but it's like a hard stretcher. They put me in the middle of a van. And so it was 12
Down by
hours
the
to
river.
Beijing. Excuse me.
Wow.
12 hours I'm on the floor of this thing looking up. We start getting into Beijing, and I recognize some of the tops of the buildings.
Mhm.
And I kind of know generally where we're going. And they turn. So I say, wait, why are you turning? Why are you turning here? You should be going straight. And they said, no, we need to turn here. They ended up getting lost. So they got lost in Beijing. They finally get me to the hospital, like maybe 16, 17 hours after I left this little town.
Yeah.
So they get me into the hospital bed there. They leave, and these guys at the hospital, they're not doing everything that they used to do at the old hospital, and I'm kind of like a little bit curious about what's going on. And so I get out to another hospital and realize that I've started to get an infection, which is a big thing, you know?
Yeah.
Because you can lose a leg or something. Anyway, we realized that I've actually been at the wrong hospital. They took me to the wrong hospital. They just like dropped me off at a place where there were other foreign people. And it was not the place I was supposed to go. So, yeah. So anyway, once that happened, combined with the complexity of the infection and, general concerns of friends and family, I came back to the U.S. I was back in the U.S. for 4 months. Had to have one other surgery there.
There's Joe Ever
Hey.
Show.
Joe Ever Show.
Hey.
How you doing?
Hello, Joe.
Yeah. So then I don't know. I was here for 4 months. Then I was back in China. It was probably about a year of recovery before I was off of cane. And,
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So then we go back to China?
Yeah, I went back.
Yeah, of course not.
Just looked both ways.
Yeah. I mean,
You got a round trip ticket.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, you can look both ways, but some things just come out of nowhere. You know, I mean, yeah.
That's an original by you right there. That's not T.S. Eliot.
That's not T.S. Eliot. No. Yeah.
You look up that quote by Tommy Clouse.
Yeah. Not there yet.
We can
Not
just
there
type
yet.
it. we'll add that to his wiki.
Yeah. Sweet.
Do you have a wiki yet?
I do not have a
We are
wiki.
going to start a Tom Clouse.
After this show, you probably should.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Well, I'm very honored to be invited to be on this show. Yes, thank you. And have my first Facebook
Love.
Live.
He'll be up for 3 days straight just Facebook Live and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you
Tommy
should
Clouse
now.
is live. Tommy Clouse is live. Tommy, why watch you sit on the toilet?
Oh, is that what it means?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that message. Yeah. I get it now. Yeah.
Like the Truman Show.
It really is, yeah. God dang. So, how long are you back in the States for? We're going to go somewhere else soon?
No, I've been in the States for a long time
Lives in
now.
Nashville.
I live in Nashville now.
My big fella.
So, yeah, I
That's
live right around
right.
the corner
That's
from
right. Big
Will. I
Phil
see him
told
all
us
the
that.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, fellas,
Good
said he
dude.
caught you wandering around a couple weeks ago.
Walking a dog or something.
Taking a walk.
Well, I don't have a dog, but yeah, I was walking around. Yeah.
Someone just handed
Every
you a
now
dog
and then,
and said, "Here's a puppy."
Big Phil was walking the dog.
Hey, since you're walking, would you care to take my dog?
Yeah.
I feel more like he just walked by a yard, grabbed the dog, so it didn't look as suspicious to be out at that time of night.
Yeah,
Don't
in
cross
East
this road,
Nashville-
though.
In
I'll tell
East
you-
Nashville, they were trying to sell him a dog. That's what it was.
I'll tell you, it's funny. I
Chinese restaurant.
actually,
Because they're looking for cat.
What's wrong with you?
On a stick. They call it chicken.
I like it. I'll eat it. And that's the weird. Somebody asked me when your name come up. Well, when Big Philip was here, and he said, "Tommy," I was like, "You know what?" I said, "Tommy can be in China or wherever the hell he's been." I said, "But every time he's at Bonnaroo, I see him.
well,
I'll just walk by.
I try to
hey,
put in a full
Yeah.
experience. Yeah.
Probably not. I walk by him, Tommy's like, Travis, I'm like, hey, Tommy, what's up? And every single freaking year, it's just
Good.
in passing, or I'll see you from afar. I'm like, hey, there's Tommy Clouse, and I don't get over there to see you or what, vice versa. But I always see you there. Oh, Billy Bob's watching. What's up, Billy Bob?
That used to be my annual trip home from China because, first of all, I mean, summer's more fun than winter anyway. So,
Right.
like, to come home for Bonnaroo, stick through some of the summer, and then, just spend Christmas in Asia was okay. Yeah. Bonnaroo is
How
kinda
many
special.
how many different ethnicities of children do you have? I'm just curious. I mean, all these different places. I feel like you should leave your seed at every little spot.
He's gonna have a lot of them.
Next question.
No,
Oh my God!
Tommy, thank you for playing into that.
Hey, if you didn't know at home, Johnny Lowry has graced us with his presence this evening.
Hello.
It just took Tommy Clouse coming on the show for Johnny to show up.
It's been a long time.
Nice.
Guess you fucks are boring.
You just say that because you mean it. Thanks, Joe Evershow.
I'm impressed with the new setup, man.
Yeah, what about that? Yeah, almost.
What's this big ass desk?
What's that?
It's our Death Star.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like a stealth fighter bomb. That's what it's kind of in the shape of.
It's my SR-71.
It's a news desk. It's legitimate
Ain't
now.
no news coming from that damn desk.
Oh yeah.
No, there's with Tommy here.
Hey, John.
There's some Asian
Old
news.
news. Yeah.
That's worse than any kind of damn stories we've had.
One time we went to the bowling alley.
In Tullahoma?
The ball I had said made in China.
Have you ever been to Tullahoma? It's
Actually,
amazing.
I have a fun China bowling story, and it's very quick.
My God,
Of course he
man,
does. Of course he does. Of course he does.
Is it like
Which is
one ball, two games? Oh, that's terrible. Go ahead with your story. Mine's terrible.
So, there's a 14-hour time difference or something. So the Super Bowl in China happens on Monday morning.
Ah, Super Monday.
So what happens is you end up going to a bar. Yeah, you go to the bar and you get hammered and the game's over at noon and you have to figure out what else to do.
While you're getting sober.
So, no, there's no getting sober. Yeah, you've already started at this day on a certain trajectory. There's no changing.
It only goes down like this.
Yeah. So,
There's like a bunch of people watching the game, though, or?
yeah. Well, there's a bunch of people watching the game, and it's almost all foreign people in like 3 different bars in Beijing. You know what I mean? But there are clusters where people go to watch the games. And so we started going Super Bowling. So we would just go to the Super Bowl and watch the game, and then go Super Bowling.
Ah.
Go bowling. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, that's fine.
Same rules.
As far as I know, I don't know the rules that well anyway. Yeah.
You get drunk and throw a ball. Right?
Yeah, we did
Very
that.
good.
Yeah.
There we go.
We
Yeah.
drank beers
Yep.
and bowled. Yeah.
So,
I don't know if it was really Super Bowling. Actually, it was probably pretty
mediocre
subpar.
bowling.
Yeah. Mediocre
Okay,
bowling would be
bowling.
actually a compliment.
Subpar.
Yeah.
Not super, subpar.
So to get back to our story here, I'll
Anybody
tell you
need a
that.
beer or anything while Bubba's in the fridge?
Bubba, may I
I'm
have one,
good.
please,
Yeah.
sir?
I'm good, bud.
I want some kind of beer.
Miller Lights, Tom. We
Anything
got
you
Miller
want, Tom,
Lights.
there's
Yeah.
a ton in there.
Yeah.
There's Miller High Life
probably
and a
something
champagne
from
bottle in
China,
there.
Beijing in there. I know there's some Icelandic beer around here somewhere at one point. I mean, there could be something from any country.
It could be from my birthday present.
He may
Miller
not,
Lite, please.
he
USA
may
right
not
there.
travel, but he has done the beer tour.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
That's for sure.
I think this is owned by SAB
But-
Miller. That's a South African company.
Oh,
Ah, drinking cappuccinos.
he is drinking, just so you know.
He is the beer drinking capital.
He
of the
is,
world.
he is, yeah.
Anyone
yeah.
knows the
It's
drinking
Hatfield.
capital
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
world.
yeah, there we go. Yeah. We are with that. Honored, actually. Chad.
All
All right,
South
so to go back,
Africa.
to go back to our story there, Travis. After I got back to China after this accident, I'd been working at this magazine for a long time. During that time, I'd met all these incredible people. So I just started freelance writing, and so I wrote a bunch of articles about China first,
Mhm.
and then gradually increased my area of coverage for Asia as a region. And so I had a pretty fantastic lifestyle because I would just pick a country, figure out a good story to do in that country, pitch that idea to an editor and then go to the country and do that story. And that was basically my job for a lot of years. So
no disrespect, but you're such a dick.
I take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
God dang, man.
What do you do now?
Kind of a dick, but not an asshole.
Exactly.
Did you by chance
I
go?
like how you're humble about everything that you have done. There are some people who like to toot their horn all the time, and I just think I have a lot of respect for that. That you've done all these wonderful things, but you're super, super humble.
Guys that put their faces
That's
on
really-
koozies.
To be fair, I'm on the internet right now. To the world. Yeah.
In his defense,
But
he is live.
I can
he
also
is
blame
live
your
officially.
beer. Yeah. Your beer and your husband both for making this happen.
You know what I mean?
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I found you on the internet.
Oh yeah! Oh man, that's an old picture. Yeah.
I'm digging the hair and the really cool shirt.
0.
Oh, that's not Pornhub?
Yeah, that was
You're freelance writing.
yeah, somebody
You got to interview.
Yeah. So,
a magazine called Today's Machining World once interviewed me.
You were dressed up a lot for that interview.
I was really dressed up for it. Yeah, I still have that shirt and I love it. I got that shirt at the Manchester Goodwill.
I don't believe it. He got that shirt from Porter Wagner. I don't know why he's lying.
Both those things are true. Porter Wagner donated it to the Manchester Goodwill. I bought it from the Manchester Goodwill.
Now it comes together full circle.
Yeah.
but yeah, no. So y'all want to talk about fun? So I tried to catch up with Tommy, in as many instances as I could. So Tommy's in China, and he's like, yeah. So I'm like, so how's things going? He's like, yeah, I started dating this girl. I was like, oh, cool. From there, he's like, no, she's Mexican. And so I'm like, oh, you're in Beijing with a Mexican girl? He's like, yeah. So there's a Mexican consul there, and yeah. So it's just like, yeah, who hasn't done that? Yeah. Yeah, so I'm in Beijing, China, and I'm with a girl who works at the Mexican consul, and I'm just gonna go.
And Bull was like, "That's so cliche."
I was like, yeah, that's what every expat does in Beijing.
Freaking Tennessean in Beijing with a damn Mexican. Here we go again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like this story's getting old.
Yeah, heard that before. New material there,
You mean
Tommy.
again?
Yeah.
Good Lord, son.
But anyway, seriously. Go ahead, Bull.
No. Like that. That was it.
That was it.
Don't discuss your storytelling.
No. But there was no comma.
However,
Like,
comma.
that was the
This-
comma.
this-
That was the exclamation.
This
point.
might be the first time ever in my life Bull has ever involuntarily stopped a story. No, sorry, voluntarily stopped a story.
He's dedicated.
Yeah.
Told me a joke about a Cheerio for 3.5 hours. And I'm not that is not a joke.
No, he kept listening. That's the whole thing. He kept on listening. Yeah.
I listened the whole time thinking this is going to be so funny.
Amber
He's built
Chumbly
this
Webb?
up.
You're entirely too polite.
Well, I've grown out of that. I was 15.
Oh, he's definitely grown out of that. Yeah.
I was 15.
What's better than like Levon would tell a joke, but he wouldn't tell us the punchline, and he'd stare at us, and and we're like, what? He goes, no, I thought y'all knew the joke. No, Levon.
What do you do, Levon? Just listen to half a joke, see who knows it?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Any shitty joke if you follow with "get it,"
Yeah,
get it makes it funny.
Especially if you do the elbow.
you didn't even get it with Levon. You just got to stare, like he's wanting you to finish the joke. Like, what are you talking about? I don't have no
To
idea.
get to the other side.
Yeah.
And he was just as surprised with the answer as you were.
Yes.
You were both surprised.
Yeah. So Tommy, in your travels, I'm sure you probably listen to a lot of music.
Yeah.
What's your favorite type of music?
Ooh, that's tough.
He writes his own songs.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah. No, I did not write my own songs.
Tommy Clouse, well, you're in Manchester.
I feel like you have your own theme music, though. I feel like when you're walking, there's like a musical montage playing. I'm walking on sunshine.
Is the video in slow motion or is it just regular?
It depends on
Yeah, it's
the
like he's
time.
on Beyblade.
hair's
It goes from
lifted.
color to black and white. It just,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I think she's turning Japanese over. Yeah.
So,
Do you know what that song's about, Tommy?
turning Japanese?
No, it's about masturbation.
Oh, really?
I'm serious.
It is.
Did you sing that song up there?
What's that song? Turning Japanese? Well,
Probably not so much in
in
China.
China, it's.
They all look the same to me. I wouldn't know.
Oh God.
I'm not sure if it's. I'm not sure if it would be any. Yeah, I don't know if that song's recognized that much in Japan either. I don't know.
It really wouldn't fit in China, considering it's about being Japanese.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
maybe
traditionally, there's a lot of friction between those two countries.
Is there?
Tad bit.
Yeah. You wouldn't
I didn't-
really
that
want to.
is
If you're gonna turn Japanese, you wouldn't really want to do it in China.
Right.
Better to do it. Better place to turn Japanese.
There's
Yeah,
no better place
Like-
to turn Japanese.
like the
than
1980s.
China.
Yeah, like the 1980s would be a good time to turn Japanese. Yeah.
My bathroom?
But you were saying
No.
we were asking about your favorite genre.
Music. Yeah. Well, I will say that I don't exactly have a
Carney,
favorite
Ryan Parnas?
genre,
Hi, Cam.
but I have some musicians that I really like
Noodle?
a lot and some less. One of the bands that I really love is kind of southern rock and roll. They're called Lucero. They're from Memphis. They're like a rock and roll. Some call them like country punk or something like that. I don't know what you call them, but they sing a lot of songs about
Lucero.
Lucero. Yeah. There's also a Mexican pop star named Lucero. So don't click
yeah.
on
Confuse
her.
the two. Okay.
Yeah.
Click on
When I
that.
said
And
pop star,
a-
not porn star. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, P.O.P.
Lead singer is a guy named Ben Nichols who
up,
who
Beagle?
sounds like he's been smoking out of a stovepipe his whole life. He's got
yeah.
one of those gravelly voices. But
Sounds like
Except
yeah,
I got 12 mine
even more gravelly maybe. Yeah.
Mushroom biscuits.
Yeah.
You
I
sound
love
like
those
a
guys. I
liar.
also, I love as a guy who is a writer most of the time. I mean, I love Bob Dylan. He's always been somebody that I am privileged to be on the earth with at the same time. Tom Waits as well.
Can't
Love
understand
Tom
a word
Waits.
he's saying.
nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Sean Davis.
Oh,
What's up, Amy Lowry?
okay. You're talking about Tom Waits, not me. I was like, oh no, I'm not. Yeah.
The moment
yeah.
musicians right
Yeah,
there.
okay,
It's like,
yeah,
oh, that was enunciating.
Yeah, it's like we're pretty late into the show to bring up issues of enunciation here.
Did you not hear any of my stories, too?
Should have pointed that out earlier, Derek. Yes.
Damn it.
But living in Nashville, I think there's no better place in the world to be a music fan right now. And I go, I visit different parts of the country pretty often, and different parts of the world too.
Yeah,
And
no
I
shit.
really don't think, yeah.
Figure that part out, Tommy. We're hating you for it right now, by the way.
Oh, what
Well,
shows
what-
you pictures of the new villa in Mexico?
I'll probably hit it
Yeah,
around.
yeah, you'll hate that. Yeah, you'll hate that too.
We haven't even gotten to the Latin American chapter. But anyway,
We're going to have as much time for that as we are for Steve. That's what I'm saying.
yeah. Well, I was going to actually say that living in Nashville is incredible too. So, but that's at least more accessible because you're right here. You can go up there anytime.
I was there today.
Yeah. But I do think Nashville. I think if you're a musician, it's a great place to be because there's so many other great musicians. But it's also very competitive in that respect. But if you're a fan, it's like nothing but good stuff because there are just great shows happening every single night. So it's great. It's a great place to be a music fan. You get very spoiled there.
Oh, well, that's what, I mean, I was in Nashville real heavy in 08, and I thought that it was an amazing time to be a fan then. But
At Tiffany's?
He didn't say 98.
I didn't say 98,
My bad.
yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, I was a fan of a different culture. So, yeah, I was a fan of Wet T-shirt. That's
I got the
Panama
years
City
of the
Beach,
decade
yeah.
mixed up. I thought it was.
But in 08, I thought it was a great time to be a fan of music in 08. but it is nothing like what it is because they like the rock scene and a lot of that other stuff. It was still pushed to the side, but I mean, to be a music fan in Nashville right now, it is just it's your oyster. It is whatever you want. It is really incredible.
What about movies, Tommy? Give me your top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Excellent.
Ooh,
Best Friends.
that's a tough one. I want to say one really quick thing since you had Big Fella here before.
Yeah.
Because he did a Dr. Dre celebration day.
Yeah.
And it was the same day they had the party at the church here. So unfortunately, these guys couldn't come up for it, and I couldn't come down for anything at the church here. But
Hi, Renee.
But I had these friends in from L.A. and I was like, well, I got this friend. He's gonna be rapping and doing this Dr. Dre thing. So we went there, and it was one friend who had come with his girlfriend and her like 3 or 4 other girlfriends. So we just had basically I was like, traveling around with this crew of
gaggle
girls.
is what they call a gaggle.
Yeah.
A gaggle.
And so we went, and it was one of those girls' birthdays,
Bless
and
you.
without Will knowing it at all, they pulled her up on stage. They were dancing around. They had this incredible time at this party. They'd been at the Grand Ole Opry earlier, and then just as we're walking out, like, I'd already said hey to Fella a couple times, but he was on stage. He got back up to start sort of rapping again, even after the show was over, and then he stopped and said, and I want to give a shout out to my man Tommy. Came all the way from China, And it was like everybody turned around, and all of these girls I was with were standing outside. Yeah, but I mean, damn it. But it was still super cool. I was like, it was pretty amazing.
Come back in.
No, wait, stop!
Yeah.
Come back.
Do it again, man. Do it again.
Yeah. No, it was really awesome. Yeah, it was great, and it was fun to explain to those guys that, oh yeah, I knew this guy on stage, back in 2005. I was on crutches, so it was after the accident when I was back here during those 4 months. That was late 05, 06, where I was hobbling around.
Well, Tommy come in.
Yeah.
Tommy come in, and he was still recovering, and we were hosting a show for Cage the Elephant. Obviously, it was they were doing it was a Louisville extraordinaire or whatever they called it, but
Extraordinaire.
extraordinaire. Extraordinary. There's a T.
Extraordinary.
There's a TR in there.
Well, there ain't a G in it.
No.
Well, shit.
Or whatever the fuck a Q. I don't know.
Well, there should be.
Now,
That's something about Chinese.
now that's how.
But no, it was real. It was a
Not
real.
even bull.
It was a real cool night.
Snapchat Hatfield. I've been practicing. Seriously, let's go to the falls.
But it was so cool because Cage, they were doing this this night where they brought down all these bands from Louisville and they were highlighting these bands. And Tommy, he was in town, and once again he was literally recovering from being run over by a truck. And it was real cool night. I forgot all about that.
Anyway, to go back to the story about Fella. Yeah, it was just it was nice to explain to these people from LA who had not been to Nashville before that I knew this guy through Bull, through my friend Bull, and I'd known him for 12, 13 years. You know, and I don't see Fella as often as I would like to, but it's pretty awesome to have those connections that And I think that's one of the great things now for someone who's been traveling around a lot to be back in Tennessee. It's like Nashville's sort of its own world, but there's still all these connections through Manchester and through the people that I grew up with.
I like Big Fella. He was good. Him and Walker both were.
Kim was a big fan of Fella. Absolutely.
Fella was on the show 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's what I.
Yep.
That was probably my favorite show.
Yeah.
I think.
I loved it.
Yeah.
That or the Bill Nichols. I really enjoyed Bill also.
Bill Nichols.
Saw him this evening.
Yeah.
When I was getting my beer.
I'm
So
going
back
to
to
say
the
Tommy's
movies.
up on my list.
So back to the movies.
Yeah.
Movies,
I've
all right.
enjoyed this also. Yes.
Movies, yeah. At least wait till the show's over before you start throwing me to the
You haven't
dogs
fucked
here.
it up.
You were average.
You're every day.
Yeah, well, to be fair, that's the theme of the show.
Yeah, exactly right.
He
Yeah.
didn't come on here to be
I mean,
above
keeping
average.
with the
yeah.
theme, yeah. Favorite movies? Well, let's see. I'll just name them not in any particular
Let's do
order.
American movies too, just for the ease of the audience.
Okay, fine. I'll throw away that list. I'll make a brand new list.
And Sim de la Trois.
Now, that sounds dirty. I want to see that one.
It's great.
Well, I'll say one for sure, and I've had to use this movie many times to demonstrate to people what Travis started this whole thing out with, which is like the whole idea of a farm party, Dazed and Confused.
Oh,
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
So often I have to show this film to people to like let them know like this is kind of like what it's like.
There's how many times we watched that movie at my house?
7.
Was it 7? That's my favorite. No, I agree. Yes, 7.
I was going to say 7 or 12. I couldn't remember.
7. He remembers 4 of them.
Yeah. I counted.
The last 3 he doesn't. He did. That's never
I
been
love
mentioned on here, by the way. I don't believe.
Really?
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
No, I
You think
feel
so,
like
too?
that's.
I feel like I thought Bradley has talked about that.
I think so also.
You think so?
I
Bradley
agree.
Ramsey.
Where's
I agree with you.
Bradley? Is he not involved in this?
He comes by from time to time.
yeah, he's been
and
on
texts
several
me and he talks to us. We love
Yeah.
Bradley. He drinks a lot less, like none. He drinks none anymore, so you know.
Yeah,
he's-
no, I know. He comes to Nashville every now and then. We hang out.
No, he's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna come watch you guys get drunk and. remind
He
me-
a lot of time. He has
Yeah.
kids opposite of when we do.
Right.
That kind of messes things up. So
Yeah.
Does it? Yeah.
Well,
It's my weekend with my kids this weekend and
And all of them.
every weekend.
well,
right, so we got-
Bradley's a year younger than me, but he was somewhat of a, I don't want to say a coach in terms of like high school, like random stuff, but you know, he
was.
we
coaching.
did go through a lot of things together, during
Yeah.
which time I would confer with him about the best route of action, you know, and he would give his feedback, and yeah. I did not say it was the best route of action. I would say his feedback on what he thought was
Right.
the best route of action.
Billy Bob just made a comment. He said he think that Rachel and him hooked up with us about that time whenever you were on your crutches one night, maybe.
Huh.
I mean, probably. It would totally make. I mean,
Say true story.
Johnny can relate to this.
I want to congratulate Eli for
Crutches.
having the privilege of having your child every weekend
And hooking up with Bull.
Absolutely,
being
yeah.
able to make a marriage with.
In Nashville.
I enjoy telling you guys when we're going to do something that it's our weekend with Emma.
You gonna end
That's
up
one of my
crippled
favorite
with
things
Bull.
to say. Yeah. We got Emma this
Excuse,
weekend.
he's blessed. I think
I bring her.
he's lucky.
She comes with us.
Hey, I
She's a
bring
lot of
Hope
fun.
to Fellowship Friday at Freddy's all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She comes every time now.
Me and Em are BFFs
My
against
kids are
Eli's
just too cool
wishes.
for me.
So we
They
got
don't go anywhere.
Days Confused. What else we got?
all right.
None of your business.
What other ones?
I'm asking the questions here.
I love Cool Hand Luke.
Who does?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Great movie.
Cool is one of those words that's like so difficult to define, but
This
I think
room's
they-
full of it right
Newman-
now.
yeah. If you're not in this room, I should say, if you're not in this room, it's very difficult to define.
It's really hard
Luckily,
to comprehend.
luckily for the rest of the world, there's Paul Newman.
The original hustler.
Yeah.
That's why he's a rider right there,
Yeah.
guys.
Stay gold, Tommy's boy.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Did you see my shirt?
Yeah. Love that one.
It's fun with shadows, huh?
Did y'all see my jacket? It's got
Can you
Asian
read,
things.
Johnny?
It's a floral
I've seen
print.
your boobies though.
Yes,
Wait a
I have.
minute. So we're at 2. Cool and Luke.
2. Okay, 2.
I win.
Let's see. I'd say it took me a little while to warm up to, but I love the Big Lebowski.
Yeah!
The number of.
You and Derek. Are
Well, I'll tell
now
you, there
best
was
friends.
Yeah.
You're getting
There
married.
was a guy in school. So that movie came out in 1998. I was still in school. There was like a grad student who went and saw that movie before I'd ever seen it. It took a couple years before I saw it. And he just kept calling me the dude all the time. I was like, why does this guy call me the dude? You know? And so it started the very first time I watched that movie, you know, he's like drinking milk in the aisle. And I'm like, I probably wouldn't do that. And
Probably.
it took, but no, I love that movie. I think it's a classic now. I mean, it's classic always, but
Plus,
for
the
me,
rug
no,
really ties the room together.
obviously, yeah. No, I mean,
It's a great movie. It's my favorite.
yeah. But I mean, that's just your opinion, man. Yeah,
It's just like your opinion.
yeah.
And it was half and half. He was drinking half and half in the aisle.
That's right. Yeah.
Because
No,
he
you're
does
right.
the old
White
White
Russian.
Russian.
Right. Yeah.
He sucks it off his mustache. My Uncle
You know,
Kenny. My Uncle Kenny used to do that.
Not after the Super Bowl. What did you do now after the Super Bowl?
Oh, you never should have done
Stella
that.
Artois.
Artois.
Still our
Come
toes.
on, Jeff Bridges, dude, don't do that.
That was hilarious.
Hey, and I guess the question is, yes, everybody can be bald. I believe that's the answer to that one.
All right. So what was that? Is that 4?
That's 3.
That's 3.
3. Oh man.
Yeah. This is a good on the head question, man.
No, it's a tough one because I really love movies.
I read that about you on your Wikipedia, so that's why I'm asking. The question.
Yeah.
It's up now, by the way.
Yeah.
We just finished writing it.
Johnny just got done with it.
Yeah. He looks busy back there.
He's just spilling beer.
I do love One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I love the book
Yes.
more, but I love the movie also.
Yeah.
Jack
My daughter
Nicholson,
loves that
amazing. Yeah.
There's
a
a book
book?
about that?
No, I just made it up.
The One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing on the book. You've seen the movie, right?
Yes.
So in the book, written by Ken Kesey, the narrator of the story is the chief. You know the chief, the tall guy, the tall Indian dude
Okay.
in the movie.
Ow.
So the thing about it is he's crazy.
Not Dot.
So he's crazy, and he's narrating the story, and he's talking about machinery and like all of these crazy things. And you're reading the first few chapters, and you're like, what is
the
going
hell? Yeah.
on here? And then he meets McMurphy, and the longer that McMurphy's there, the more sane he gets. So you see him gradually becoming more sane, and
As it
but
goes along, yeah.
as it goes on, but because he's the narrator. But actually, then you look back on what he said at the beginning, and it sort of makes sense because he's talking about the machinery and the gears of the world, and like he talks about his dad who used to drink, but when he put the bottle to his lips, it would suck him inside instead. And you're like, that's crazy, but it
I
kind
get
of
it.
makes sense, And
So you got to be high as shit to watch it.
That's not the movie; it's to read it.
Read it. Okay. All right.
Well, that's the problem. It's not.
Watching the book.
I'm not reading.
But this is the challenge.
Audio book. Let's do the audio book.
Audible.
There you go.
Well, I'll tell you. I
What's
mean,
going on Audible right now?
The interesting thing is the guy who wrote that book, Ken Kesey, who he did work in a mental hospital, but he was like
see
a
that.
pretty clean cut dude
Mm-hmm.
who was All-American wrestler, went to a creative writing graduate program at Stanford, and even when I was in school there, they would have these flyers up that would say like volunteer for psych experiments, $8-10 an hour, Well, he did that in the early 60s, but they were testing LSD. And so this all-American kid,
They
he
don't do
started
this
volunteering
anymore,
for
by
this.
the way,
Yeah,
guys.
no, they don't do that anymore, as far as we know. As far as we know. Yeah.
No pay.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, actually, they are doing some medical experiments with similar type things. But anyway, he, so he was like, yeah, this stuff's awesome. And
Hey,
he and his
Barnes.
buddy started having some parties up in the hills behind the school there with a local band called the Warlocks at the time. Later became the Grateful Dead. And, just became like this whole movement that started from Ken Kesey, who
So
wrote the
they're
book,
the son of
Cuckoo's
bitches
Nest.
that why
So,
we
yeah,
have
it's
fish
kind of
now.
like-
Okay, I now know who to
You
blame.
may not have to be stoned.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
So
you may
Sean
not
Reagan?
have to be stoned to read it, but you probably had to be tripping to write it. Is my point.
There you go.
Okay.
Wind it
What's up,
back in.
Lineberger?
Yeah.
Oh, so we have that guy to blame for the dead,
Yeah.
and we have them to blame for why we have fish and widespread panic. So now I know who to take out.
Well, sadly, Ken Kesey's already passed away.
Is it?
Yeah.
Missed your
Well,
chance,
He,
buddy.
he heard I was born in 78. He's like, fuck it, I'm checking out, dude. They're
Yeah.
gonna kill me.
I mean, he's a super interesting guy. He ended up just moving back to his hometown and becoming the local high school wrestling coach.
So you're gonna be King Kesey?
I'm not going to be a wrestling coach. No, I'm not going to be a coach in Macomb County, okay?
You could be a drinking coach.
Or a ski coach.
Or a ski coach.
No coach.
Life coach, yeah, because we all
Travel
suck.
coach.
Beverton 1-1.
No coaching.
Yes, please.
All right, that's one more.
One more movie.
Oh man, this is really tough. The lot because I mean you have certain movies like not my answer, but you have Animal House. You have
That's a good one.
some pretty class. You know what? Office Space.
Oh yeah,
Just rewatched that recently.
Who's my stapler?
Gangster.
Oh man, I might have to go with Office Space. I think there's so many classic lines in there.
Have you seen my stapler?
It's my
It's a swing
stapler.
line.
It's a swing. It's a red stapler.
Yeah.
red
I like watching the squirrels.
No, mine's like
And make it.
Yes.
with the computer.
Can I actually though? I'll go out on a limb. I'm not exactly gonna say this is my top 5, but a movie that I think is like thought of as sort of a thriller movie, but it actually is really, really good. Michael Clayton. Have you ever seen that movie?
With George Clooney?
Yeah, with George
Yeah.
Clooney. Yeah, I mean, it's not like a fun
Y'all
movie.
seen it?
It's just a good movie. Has a lot of like interesting themes.
I have.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
It's a great movie. It's like really well written. It's got like important themes about morality and it's kind of a thriller thing.
Who's in it?
George Clooney.
Clooney?
It's gotta be
Clooney,
good.
yeah.
Oh, Michael Clayton's a great.
I mean,
Yeah,
think
it's a
about
great
it.
movie.
He was
I
in
mean-
an espresso commercial.
It's not.
I said Clayton.
What's wrong with you, Roger?
Jesus
What's that?
Christ, I said
It's probably like
She did not.
15 years ago. 10.
It's
You
probably
said
15.
Clinton.
You're
Probably
right,
15.
yeah.
Yeah,
You ever
probably
playing a
15.
saxophone? Tell us.
Yeah, 2000.
Yeah,
That
Roger.
is Roger Clinton.
Yeah.
Roger.
P-Funk. P-Funk, where'd you come to Nashville, by the way?
They are. They're
Yeah.
going on tour. Yep.
George
Don't know. It's like his farewell tour.
Yep.
P-Funk, Bootsy Collins is going to be with him.
Bootsy.
Bootsy. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby.
Aw, you can't hold Boosie down.
All right.
I tried.
All right. Carl Lee Barton wanted me to ask you this question, Toby. What's
Yeah.
your favorite beer?
Oh man.
Come on. Free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wet.
Yeah, free. I'll go free before cold, and then cold second. Yeah.
What's your favorite
Um,
beer? Number 7.
I'm. I think one of the one time I was in another country with a guy from Portland, Oregon,
You don't say.
and this guy was like drinking a beer, and he's like, "Oh, this."
Huh?
Where does Zimas come from?
2 years ago.
There's Zim.
They come from 1992. Is
I feel like
where they
it's-
come from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might have been to.
Is that
Yeah,
from
2 years
South
ago.
Africa also, or where?
No, all I was gonna say is this guy grew up in Portland, Oregon, and every beer he had was kind of like only okay. I think one of the great advantages of growing up in Manchester is that my baseline is like natural light. So I'm always okay with that. Like that's always okay. There are beers that I like better though, and I do think that right now, 2 breweries in Nashville are doing some really awesome work. The Bearded Iris,
Oh yeah.
awesome place.
Yes. Yes.
Doing great beer. Another place just right by my house, Smith and Lentz Brewery. Really small microbrew. They do a lot of different types of beers. Those 2 places are probably my favorite places to just go have a beer. But
Good
I'm
time,
not.
my friend.
I'm not a picky person.
You know LeBron Haggard? A couple
I feel
years,
like
about 3 years older than you.
should.
He's
There's a brewery opening in Manchester is what Travis is trying
Oh,
to say.
okay. Yeah.
yes,
It
yeah.
looks a lot like the hat there.
Yeah.
And
Or
even the
there.
one on Eli's head.
Oh,
It's
nice.
Yeah, Common John
Common
Brewing
John
Company.
Brewing.
Good beer.
Well,
Maybe the name Ray Haggard will help
do
you
we,
out.
Richardson.
do we have any? We
Yeah.
don't
That-
have any
112.
around
Not
yet. It's not
tonight.
out yet. Right?
Oh, if we had it here, we would-
establishing it right now.
It doesn't
He's been
last
working on it
long
for
when it's
years.
around.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a great place to do it.
Yep.
Obviously, I'm biased, but
But here's the whole thing: the cool, the majority of his beers, it's all based because he's from here. Everybody's a Pilsner drinker, so the majority of the brews that they make, it is all based around Pilsner drinkers.
He makes a lot
So-
of IPAs.
Well,
Yeah.
he does,
And his new IPA. Oh my God.
but it's
these are kind of my
still-
2 favorite beers: Pilsner and IPA. That's kind of my.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
That's your
my
jam.
thing. That's my jam. Yeah.
Well, all of his
So,
beers, like even the stouts and all that, like,
Yeah.
and I hate stouts and dark beers,
I
but
like
they're
stouts, too.
but they're all designed for. They have Pilsner drinkers because LeBron doesn't care about selling in other areas. If he can't sell beer to local
Locally,
people,
yeah.
then he doesn't really care. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, Tommy. I do not like microbrewed beer. I'm not a craft beer guy. It's not my deal. I don't care
Little
for
Leonard
it.
Matthews saying.
I'm a light beer drinker. Macro brews. That's what I enjoy. Every beer that I've had of LeBron's, which has only been maybe 4, I've enjoyed every one of them.
Yeah.
And I'm not one to venture out of my comfort zone, so I'm pretty excited about him doing this, and which it helps knowing the guy and knowing what kind of person he is.
Makes the beer better?
Well, I mean, you give it more of a chance. If you know somebody, it's like,
It does.
you know,
Makes
if,
the whole
if
experience
I'm a
better.
shitty cook, but you're my buddy, you might come and say, well, that wasn't so bad. You know what I mean?
Put into it the thought.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm just saying, it's
Yeah.
what he's making appeals to a very wide audience
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, we've got he's invited us over to watch him, do the brewing process, which is pretty cool. And because they're doing it in his dad's shop or his shop behind his house, and you would think it's just me, Johnny, Eli, and Tooth, Bull sitting around, with some boilers and some no, this shit's like precision crap, with thermometers.
He's got beakers.
Didn't you get in trouble for that one?
I mean, like,
I'd say-
you have to brew. He was telling me the other day, you have to brew like certain strands have to be at 65 degrees, and there's a chiller and a heater all in this one contraption, and it will keep it at 65 perfectly.
Yeah, and
know?
you can't have this strand of hops be stored with this strand of hops because it'll infect the other strand of hops, which affect the taste of the beer. And you're like,
And there's live yeast in the air and all
what
this
the
stuff.
hell are you
All
even
kinds of
talking
crazy
about
shit.
Well, I
right
mean-
now?
We go to beer college every time we spend time
Yeah,
with
he
him.
lost me. I was
Yeah.
done. I need remedial beer
Yeah.
brewing.
When they come over here
Brew
and
one on-
Stanford degree before you can even understand it.
yeah.
Don't
Not
sign me
really.
up
You
for
can
this.
understand.
Yeah, no, I'm totally into
Emotion
testing
flurry
it
from
out.
both.
Yeah.
It's really good, and I'm not. I will drink a Miller Lite, a Coors Light. I like a Vita in certain flavors, but I'm not a
Yeah,
big beer
Vita.
fan. I
Turbo
like
Dog.
whiskey.
I
I
love
hate
whiskey
Turbo
too.
Oh,
Dog,
I love it
Yeah.
because it's
It's
stout.
too
Turbo
stout.
Dog.
Yeah.
Strong.
But
Yeah, turbo ass.
everything LeBron
Yeah.
brought here for us to sample, I don't care whether it was a dark beer, a light. Everything had
Yeah,
a great flavor.
the porters
Oh,
were
yeah.
good. I hate
all of it.
porters.
I love
Not a
it.
bit of
I do
chocolate.
think
My favorite
it's
porter.
depending on when he comes out with this, Tommy could be good because I do feel that there's been sort of, with the whole microbrew thing and all of the beers that are around those.
Yeah.
They're kind of like there's a little bit of skill. I mean, this is at least my own personal experience. Doesn't mean it's everyone's experience, but I was just telling Bull earlier, like, I still like the IPAs. I mean, I went through a big stout phase and all. I went
You
to
were a
Ireland,
dark
all
beer
that
face.
stuff.
Yeah, you were a dark beer for a
And I
while.
really do. I mean, I really like Pilsner now. I feel like I get Pilsners and that's kind of like similar to this,
It's
I
a
mean,
fine pilsner.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's
Says so on the
everything kind
can.
of goes a bit in ways, but I do think it's probably a good time to come out with some, good drinking, light drinking beers. I'd say.
Social beers.
Slightly light.
Social beer. Yeah, social beers.
It'll go
is a-
off at 10, Andrea.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I
Quick
wasn't
question from
sure.
Erica Coulter. She's the chef at Bites of Europe here in town. Well, what's your all the travels you've made? What's your favorite food?
Ooh, that's
yeah. I swear to God, if you cook a dish, I'm gonna hit you in the face with this.
what's that?
None. Shit.
Just start beeping it up.
A favorite thing to
All the
cook or
bleeping.
favorite thing to
Your favorite food. Your favorite
eat?
food. Yeah.
Favorite
To
food.
eat.
Yeah.
Cuisine.
Oh, that's really difficult. I would say.
Say spam.
Toast.
Yeah, again, I'm not cooking. Not cooking, right? Yeah.
Toast.
It would probably be a tie between. Yeah. Okay. I'll say. Can I do a three-way tie?
You can-
We can all do three ways. Yeah.
I mean, you guys in a
High five
three-way,
around here all day.
Yeah.
Three ways.
I mean, yeah.
Ten.
I mean, we're after a
ways
certain
around
point
here.
in the evening, right? I can talk about a three-way.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So I'll
On a
say
Thursday.
the Sichuan Chinese style cooking,
Oh, yeah.
the Californian style of Mexican food,
Yeah, I'm with you on that
and
one.
Nashville hot chicken.
That's
Those are my three
Wow,
favorites.
that's
Wow.
how
That's my
you
chicken.
do that in there.
That's a variety.
I love spicy food, and I love fried chicken. So you put them together. But yeah, there's this part of in southwest China. There's a Sichuan pepper, and it's not only hot, spicy, but it's also got a numbing spice. So it's a very
Chad Jr.?
different feeling when you eat it. It's kind of like a shot of Novocaine in your tongue.
What's
you
it
know,
called?
Cocaine chicken.
It gives you a nutty. No.
Something we can
Well,
relate
it's
to.
like cocaine chicken, but it doesn't necessarily
Do you
give you
take it
a
right in the
teeth, but it definitely makes you feel good.
You roll it around.
Okay.
It's more like
Where's my spike?
Well, I'll tell you, you know,
probably
I
be
ain't gonna
more
bake
like
now.
weed chicken.
I ain't gonna bake
Kind chicken.
Yeah, it'd be like kind chicken. Yeah,
kind chicken.
yeah.
Well, I will say, so Charles, you know, Charles fed me a dish that was artichoke pork. It was artichoke. It was but it was artichoke pork, and it was the exact same.
Artichoke or green bean?
No, it was it might have been, but no, it was artichoke. Artichoke
Really?
and pork
Interesting. Yeah, yeah.
is what Charles's chef fed me. Artichoke
Yeah.
and pork. And
Allegedly.
So, yeah.
allegedly, it could have been. It could have been Cookville Cat. You know, I mean, it could have been, but.
To give you a little background, there's a guy from this area of China who lives in Nashville, and he was with some friends, and they had stopped and they were going to stop in Manchester, and they wanted like somebody to show them around, and I was somewhere else.
You were in Mexico. You were in Mexico.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
somewhere. Yeah. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm in another country, but let me check and see if I can find somebody who can meet you and show you around Manchester. so I called Bull, and Bull was like, yeah, well, I can probably do that. I said, all right.
You got 8 minutes?
Yeah. So
Got 8 minutes. That was great, Rob.
He never less than 8 minutes.
But, yeah, so the funny thing is that now Bull and this friend of mine from Nashville, who's originally from this part of China, are going out and getting artichoke Sichuan food without even telling me anything about it.
Well, which is
yeah, but no, it's great. Yeah,
Charles is the reason. Once again, after Apollo got to go to China, that entire relationship. Charles Lee.
Yeah.
That's
That
correct.
entire
Yeah.
relationship spawned from Tommy being in Mexico.
You made mention of that.
Well,
I
it's-
did.
yeah.
When the guys were here.
Yep, that is correct. Yep.
Good job, Tommy.
You're awesome, Tommy.
Oh, without a
yeah.
doubt.
Well, actually, it spawned from like a couple of years of having dinner with Charles once a month. Because, awesome dude, but he was hosting these Chinese dinners like once a month to just people that were interested in China, like to come to these dinners, and so yeah, that was.
That's a segment Bubba's built.
Yeah.
I know.
Now,
That would be another good guy to have on here, actually.
Oh,
Charles?
Charles?
Yeah.
If we could
Something
get
to consider.
past that lost in translation barrier.
we'll bring Tommy in.
Yeah, well, I'll do it. Yeah,
I feel like Tommy to start making shit up, though.
yeah.
You
I'll
can just say whatever you want to
Yeah, I'll
do.
do that. Yeah.
That's actually pretty damn entertaining. I'm waiting for the burning question because we got something to add to it.
Oh, sweet. Burning.
Tooth,
Yeah.
music of the week. What you got this week, buddy?
Man, I don't.
What you been listening to this week, though? Just what's on your playlist?
Radio?
No, I actually was listening to
Dolly Parton.
Jolene.
Choice.
the Killers on the way here.
Ain't
Yeah.
no order.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But I got a message today from Elise,
Mhm.
and I decided when you asked me this, before you asked me, I decided on my way here that when you were going to ask me this question that I didn't have any new music of the week, but I was going to talk about this message. She sent me this message saying that the Black Keys are going on tour with Modest Mouse.
And they're coming to Nashville.
yes.
Y'all to go do another shoot. Post it on Facebook so I can see it though.
You know,
You're-
Invited so he won't show up.
Make sure you share it.
I'll
Make sure
invite you so
share
you won't show up.
Lots of videos.
He's being quiet because he knows that part's true.
No, but I get invited to the podcast.
Well, so all right, so to bring it full
You're
circle.
about to never podcast.
So Black Keys, what you're talking about, the Black Rock album. How did you deep into that?
bro.
Did you dig
So,
into that album?
Bull brought this up a few shows ago.
Well, no, you brought it up. The
Well,
Black Keys,
but,
you know.
but we played off each other,
Of course.
and you shared some information.
And
When he
with.
sent me this clip,
There you
and
go.
what I
You
have
get a
further
4
looked
hours
at,
sleep. Is that
it's
for you?
amazing. But you can 100%
Wrap this
tell
up.
that the Black Keys mix this. Like you can hear them.
And that was in 2008.
Keep it going.
That was in 2008 is when that was done.
And it's like you said, if it had been
7
a
hours.
different name
Eventually
doing
they
it,
just
it'd
stop.
still
Keep
be
going.
being talked about.
If it was not for Dame Dash, this album would be spoke about until and like I said, like you guys, you were all talking about it, and that particular element that we were talking. I mean, it's just once again our world travels. I was in New York and I was working with Bill Dance of MOP, and Bill was like,
"Hell of a fisherman."
Off a boat now.
Well, a different kind of fishing they do in Yonkers, but
I don't even know nobody in fucking Yonkers.
A fishing nonetheless that they do in Yonkers.
I hated Yonkers. I never got to New York because of Yonkers.
But I was working with Bill, and I was in this weird artisty phase to where I was mad at.
Really?
Yeah. I was mad at where hip hop was going, and I was working with Bill on an album.
Bill Dance?
Yes.
Bill Dance, the fisherman from Yonkers, and but Bill invited me to the studio, and
He's
that's
from Yonkers,
where
he's a Tennessee
I got to meet the guys, and I heard it, and we brought it up and bring it full circle, talking about it. It's just as a true music critic, which you are,
100%. Excellent. Number one, I told you the other night, anything with Mos Def, I like Mos Def. I just like I like him as an artist. I like him as an individual. I just like him.
Like him as an actor.
As an actor, but I'm saying seriously, man, you could just totally hear every ounce of the Black Keys and everything. It didn't matter that they were rapping. It didn't matter if it was hip hop sound. It didn't matter. It was slow. It was melodic, and you could hear all of this Dan Auerbach just coming through.
I like his solo stuff.
I love
Dan
it.
Auerbach.
Love it, dude. Love it. But it was amazing because I never would have known that collaboration existed had you not brought that to my attention. Like,
but once again, the Black Keys, what they helped create. I mean, it was phenomenal, absolutely
and you
phenomenal.
talking about like bringing two different.
And to put this
together.
for everybody out there in TV land, to put it in perspective, this, for me anyway, this is Aerosmith and Run DMC coming together in 2008, 2009.
Yes.
Carly
Hold
Bart
on,
was
what are we
no.
talking about here? 'Cause
The
this
Black
is kind of my
Rock
dream.
album.
The Black.
I told you about
Carly,
I told you about that. When I was
Carly
in
Black Rock album, sir.
the Black Rock album. This was the Black Keys. Dame Dash. He had just went through his whole fallout. What?
The producer?
Yeah. He wasn't a producer. He was a shitty producer. He was partners with Jay-Z.
Is he related to Stacey Dash?
Yes. Second removed.
What about Mrs. Dash?
Shake
That's
and
my
bake,
favorite.
I guess. Shake and bake. But Dame, and once again, Dame Dash was hated at the industry in this time, and he wasn't really known as a producer, but he heard about this great up-and-coming independent rock band called the Black Keys, who had an amazing sound, and he created this entire hip-hop album around them doing the instrumentals. And it is absolutely phenomenal. But once again, just because of where Dame Dash was in his career, who Dame Dash was in general, and the style that he was trying to do, it just never went anywhere. But it is one of the most amazing records that was ever made, and it's the Black Rock album.
Black Rock album.
Yeah,
Hands down.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So
look it up, Carly.
Black Keys, Modest Mouse, supposedly, allegedly touring together, which I think's amazing.
It's happening. It's coming to Nashville.
And the Black Keys have new music has been released. There has been a small interview that I heard a clip of on the Buzz, and the question was posed to Dan as, do you prefer to do singles, EPs, or do you like to do full albums? And his answer was, sure, songs are fun, but the real joy or the real win, if you will, is giving somebody 45 minutes, an hour where they can slip away and be where they want to be as far as listening to the music in their feels, happy. So he talked like an album may be on the way, but there's no
that'd be
concrete
great.
proof.
That'd be great.
Can I give a quick plug with a semi-local twist?
Absolutely.
A good buddy of mine named Chip Green put out an album. He's from McMinnville. Just put out an album a couple months ago called In My Town, I believe. A lot of great music on there as well. Kind of a Jackson Brown style.
Oh, I love
Awesome.
Jackson Brown. I
Love
love Jackson Brown, man.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Chip Green, you said?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
Old school McMinnville.
And also,
Dude.
guys, any of you heavy music listeners out there, check out the Face the Dreams new EP.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Um,
We'll show you a little cover here. Out of the Darkness, guys.
Born and raised in McMinnville.
Born and raised in McMinnville. His mom's a boy. I don't know if you know any of the Boyds, the nurseries.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
His mother's Boyd.
Okay.
I mean, this is a small town show, so I'm gonna
We'll ask.
name stuff.
I bet Ryan's.
I
bet Tackett knows him.
Yeah.
Tackett knows him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eli, what you got in lunchtime theater this week, sir?
I watched The Mexican this week.
That's a great movie.
Excellent movie.
Excellent.
That's
movie.
a great movie.
Yeah, that was lunchtime theater this week. Was
It
The
was
Mexican.
good.
Pardon?
It was good.
I enjoyed it. I've seen it several times, but it's a good movie.
I took you up on the Dodgers thing that you talked
Oh yeah.
The Losers.
That was
Long shot.
Long shot.
No, me and Tooth are
long
watching
shot.
Losers.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, Paul Newman, yeah.
That was
No,
No?
it's a documentary. It's about a guy that he gets arrested for first degree murder.
One Josh Carney gave.
Mater.
Have y'all seen The Ranch?
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh,
TV
yes.
show?
How many seasons have you watched?
Dude, I started today's Thursday. I started Tuesday, so I'm in halfway through part 2, and I'm only watching little bits of it.
Man,
Yeah.
you ain't seen
That's
nothing
funny.
yet.
I
You
don't
ain't seen
care.
nothing yet. I love the ranch. I don't know about the
tried. I
Rooster
didn't like
situation.
it.
Are they going to bring him back? There's been a lot
I
of
keep hearing that he's going to.
Oh, with
Sam Elliott and
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton
And that
Kutcher.
blonde chick that's hot as hell that was
Yeah.
from Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Fine. Whoa.
She originated on Are You Afraid of the
Billy
Dark?
Bob's
on
got a
Nickelodeon.
question. Who was the mid-90s rapper from Manchester aside from Bull?
DJ.
Ooh.
Pat Pete's from Shelbyville.
Chevy Flat Creek.
Shelbyville Flat Creek Mafia.
Talking about Chris Moore?
That's
Chris
what I'm thinking.
Moore.
Chris
We'll
Moore,
see.
right?
We'll see.
We'll see.
No, Matt Vincent was also. Matt Vincent was the.
Yeah, but Billy Bob would know Matt. They're
No,
Just a few
he'd be, well, he's in the middle like me. Billy Bob and I graduated together, so he's
Yeah,
like
it would be-
between Matt and me. And Chris Moore, sorry.
Yeah, it would have to be Matt Vincent, is what he.
Matt?
Vinny V. Yeah, Vinny V was the very first one with a cassette. Cassette
I
tape.
bet it means Chris
Cassette
Moore.
tape.
I
is
bet.
that French? A cassette tape?
Well, I mean, we're
Let's
we're
ask
amongst
Tom.
culture.
That's Tom.
Yeah.
Let me refer to my French friend Tommy here.
Oh, it's funny you said that. I thought you meant because of age. Yeah. Because what's funny is, Vinny V grew up down the street from me. I mean, we were like best friends
yeah.
until he turned 13 and he realized it wasn't that cool to be best friends with a 10-year-old. All right. Yeah. But
Well, let's establish, the divide there. Tommy's also was right down the road from the Ballards as well. So
Both
we
ends of the
got,
spectrum. Both ends of the
Oh yeah.
spectrum.
Oh
Jesus
very very
Christ.
widely
See,
spectrum.
that's why he's so diverse.
Very diverse
Irish
indeed.
Drive, that area.
Billy Bob said it was Chris Moore.
Polk Street.
It was Chris Moore.
Polk
Okay,
Little
all
C.
right.
Little Caesar.
Little
Caesar.
C.
You live on
Yep.
Polk Street?
I bought a house on Polk Street as an adult.
I lived on Polk Street.
No.
for years.
Eli lived right across from your mom. The house right across from your mom.
Wait, what?
Yes. Whenever you
White,
pull,
yellow,
yeah,
or
right
white
across
again?
from your mom. That's where
Three
Eli
right
lived
there.
on Polk Street.
All right.
Right across from your mother.
Sorry,
Yes.
we're probably getting overly local here, but yeah.
Oh, no,
that's
that's
what
amazing.
this show is.
Yeah.
Lady A, wondering localista what you got this week. Anything? I know you've been busy with the Affleck stuff.
Yeah, I was in Affleck flight school this week, so I
She'll
learned.
be flying planes soon, but not those Boeing 7.
No,
But
not those.
Real quick, this goes way back in time, but I'm pretty sure what's happened. They're doing some investigation still, but allegedly the pilots were watching the Everyday Joe show, trying to catch
Dropping
up
down
on
off from the
episodes. This is what I heard.
You're the only one.
Yeah. We just crashed Boeing stock. Well
Yeah.
done, guys. Well done.
Yeah.
All right, so I say the
Time
burning
to
question
buy.
till you got in.
Okay.
The burning question. Tommy,
Oh, me. Oh, shoot.
who would you
Prepared
rather
for
be?
this. I
Yeah,
All
prepared
right,
you for
all
this.
right.
If your answer's wrong,
If you had to,
Would you
if
rather
choose
be-
to be a person, one of these characters?
one of these characters, not the same person, but the characters, Johnny Castle from Dirty Dancing or Dalton from Roadhouse.
I texted you in this to be prepared.
Yeah. Well,
Don't play to him. Pretend like you're thinking about it.
okay.
You know the answer.
Don't go
I know the answer.
You know the answer. Go ahead.
Okay, I know the answer. But I have to put a disclaimer because pretty much all of the female people that I know in my life would go for the Dirty Dancing Johnny character.
So you're going
But
with
I-
Dalton. Good.
I'm going Dalton, and the reason why I'm going Dalton is
Because
because
you're a loser.
Hang on. Let him finish.
look,
Let him
I
finish.
mean, I've never really been in like a real fight in my life other than getting knocked out a couple times. But Dalton,
my truck.
that was one of them. No, I did not get knocked out by the truck, by the way.
He was coherent the whhole time.
This is clearly a
Tom, you
point of
tougher than
pride
anybody
for
in this
me.
game.
Yeah, I did not get knocked out by the truck, and the truck was totaled. I won.
The little skinny Asian guy dropped me.
You're like a small version of Hancock or something. There.
But he was a philosophy major from the University of Arizona
He was.
who spent a lot of time in divey bars.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I can relate to that.
Yep.
So, what's that?
But
Wrestled a lot of men.
look at the
He
chicks.
did wrestle a lot of men.
Look at the
Man.
chicks that wanted him, though.
All of them.
Yes.
As did they for Johnny.
Yeah, but he got his ass whipped and he busted out a quarter glass of 55 Chevrolet.
Well, no, I mean
He
the
pulled
thing.
more ass the park bench. I know that.
Thing about Dalton is he was like a bit of a Renaissance man, you know, but
Yeah.
for a dive bar.
And
He
he
was like
whipped.
the dive bar
The
Renaissance
bar
man.
was really low.
And he,
That's why I was there.
Well, I mean, but hey, Sam Elliott had his back, you know what I
and
mean?
he
Like,
whooped
yeah,
Terry Funk's ass. NWA champion. Whooped his ass in that movie.
Totally not
That's it.
staged.
The movie was written.
So,
Travis scripted.
so was wrestling.
We're aware.
There you
Second
go.
Roper. We're aware. Come off the middle rope, Dick.
Piss off.
All right, so now ask him the
All right,
Oh,
the
the
sequel to
follow-up.
this question.
Okay.
I don't think
Follow-up.
you've been around for
Follow-up.
this one.
follow-up.
Who would win?
Another beer.
Who would win in the fight? Dalton from Roadhouse or Philo Beto from Every Which Way But Loose?
That's easy.
Clint Eastwood,
God,
Clint
when was
Eastwood's
the last time I
character.
saw
No,
it?
that's easy, Mike. Don't even say ooh, Mike. Don't say ooh.
No, Chimpanzee is not in, no, and it's not Clint Eastwood.
You mean Orange Tan?
It's not Patrick Swayze. It's
Yeah,
Dalton
Orange
and
Tan.
Philo
That's what
Beto.
Eli calls
Don't
him.
say ooh, Mike. It's a very cut and dry answer. It is
It's
not
an
an ooh.
easy answer.
It's
Fighting style.
oh no, it is
One
not.
guy's got Aquanet in his hair and shoulder pads in his shirt.
Thank you very much. One is a fucking man, and the other
I thought
is
you'd
a
be
princess.
bigger.
I mean, it's very easy.
Yeah, Dalton's me, Bull's Philo.
Oh my God.
Well, we all know.
Stay
what you
gold,
got.
pony boy. Huh?
Sam Elliott was man.
He got killed.
I know.
By 4 guys.
But he was a legend.
No, he did
you know,
not get
before he
killed
got
by
killed.
Dalton.
But I do think that was
Hey,
a
hold
plot
The movie was
flaw.
scripted.
He shouldn't have been killed in
Just
Roadhouse.
for the record,
Oh.
just for the record, it was time for him to go to sleep. He hadn't slept.
Well, damn it, Tooth. I never thought about
Y'all
that.
hadn't been thinking about it. See, he said he'd sleep when he was dead. Well, guess what? It was finally time. His clock was out. It was
Man,
time to
how'd
get
you
some
come up
sleep.
with that?
It was
I
nap
thought real
time.
hard about it.
I reckon.
I sat by a philosophy major's friend.
It just come to you. That's
Yeah,
good. That's
that
nice.
sounds pretty flimsy to me. Philosophy people are sketchy. Just look at Dalton, man. That guy never could pull his.
Charles
life
Lee
together.
says hi, Tom.
"Oh, awesome!
Yeah, Charles just chimed in. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, Charles, I think you should consider coming on this.
So,
show.
Philo or Dalton, who do you think?
Well, the problem is the last time I saw Every Which Way But Loose, I think it was about 10.
It was on Amazon Prime. So I watched it the other day. So.
I mean, I you know, it's hard for me to not go Dalton because I've already been in Dalton's
Right.
corner this whole
Hey.
evening.
I'm looking at who I'd rather fight.
Hey,
I'd rather
I'd
fight.
kick my ass. I'd pick Dalton because he'd make me tap out. Those guys just want to keep
Kill me.
beat the shit out of me.
no, but Philo through a fight, the last fight of the movie, he lost on purpose. And then I keep getting, oh, he kicked the Black Widows, the whole biker gang's ass. Everybody in this room can whoop that biker gang's ass.
How
I guarantee
many
you.
Nazi biker gangs have you fought?
How many have you fought?
Just
None.
There you go.
And I can't whoop Philo Beto.
You can't.
Guess what? You know how many fucking bouncers' asses I've kicked? A couple.
None.
What about coolers?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Guess what?
No.
The coolers are always drinking fucking coffee at the bar, so
Travis-
they've never gotten to a scuffle.
Travis
They didn't
has
need
had a
to.
scuffle at a
Oh,
bowling
whatever.
alley, and that's almost the same thing.
Right. So did Johnny. They played catch with Johnny.
Travis had a scuffle?
Well, yeah,
That's interesting. I don't remember that.
that's
Busy getting turned like
that's because you were getting your ass whipped, and they were all laughing about it.
Gotcha. Go jump in the pool. Let's jump in the pool. Oh, Johnny, what are you gonna
He
do?
keeps forgetting. We told the story like 8 million times on the show. I got a
If
butterfly
Johnny,
knife
if you only showed up
whipped out
earlier,
on me. I'm
you'd
kind
be
of
the
fleshy,
star of this story. But,
so I went this way. I stab real easy.
He looked at me afterwards like, damn, dude, I saw you look like you were in the dryer. You just tumbled off.
No, they were literally playing catch with Johnny, and Johnny got tired of it. So the last time they threw Johnny, he bit some dude on the shoulder, and Johnny spit this chunk of this guy's skin out of his
I
mouth.
thought I had him, man.
God.
I was going
I
down.
thought I had him.
I just bit up, and then somebody punched me off of it.
Yeah, Johnny had blood in his mouth. Like, oh, he got hit. No, that's where I bit the dude. All right, well, that's cool. All right, and this is a sidebar question we've asked a couple times. Who win a fight, Clubber Lang or Drago? Rocky 3 versus Rocky 4. Because I'm in those 80s
I mean,
movies.
I don't want to sound like a communist, but I think probably Drago.
Drago would definitely win.
I mean,
100%.
I think.
Stand over him and say,
What do you-
he dies, he dies.
Mike, outside.
Mike,
I'll go with Drago.
you
You have
Drago?
to go with Drago.
Yeah.
Mike, who you got on Dalton and Johnny Castle?
Dalton and Johnny. Okay, so we're back to that.
But
Yeah.
it's not a fight. This is like
No,
who's
now we're
cooler,
not
right?
fighting.
That
No,
sounds a bad
who'd you
stat.
rather be?
Oh wow.
Because Dalton's gonna whoop Johnny Castle's ass.
Is my wife on?
I love Bruce Leroy.
She's not on.
Who's the master?
Man, I love that show.
Oh, me too, man. That was an amazing. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a Dalton fan.
You know what?
No?
Yeah, I saw that movie with Benny V. Just for the
Because
record.
I'm not a Dalton fan. I don't.
Hey, I'll take you any way I can get it. Thank you.
So wait. So Mike brought up. So wait. All right. I've got to find out, why are you not a Dalton? So guys, this is Mike Cardinal in the Peanut Gallery. So Mike, why are you not a Dalton fan?
Just too pretty boy.
Ooh, all right.
Compared to John, wait,
I like the Sam
compared to
Elliott.
Johnny
I like the Sam-
Castle.
No, I'm just talking in terms of in that movie. I like the Sam Elliott character.
Oh, well,
I
yeah,
know he
oh, yeah,
died.
of course.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah, but it's still Sam
But that,
Elliott,
I
so
liked him
yes.
better in the movie.
Hey, Charles Lee says, Tom Clouse, you drink night and cold beer, and it makes me thirsty.
We just had that discussion, but you couldn't hear us. But it's okay. But
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, and
I say quench that thirst.
yeah. Well, and remember, according to my guys, and hopefully I'll get to experience it in a couple months. But
Yes, and she's a piece.
my guys say whenever you go to Chengdu with Charles Lee, you never see the bottom of your glass. So
So is it,
I'm excited about that.
Eli, you got
I
a
have
big.
to say
Why don't you
after-
show the audience that big old thing of
What in
cheese
God's
poops you
name
got?
was that?
Screw you guys and kids. And she's a piece, you guys.
All right, Mike, one more question.
Oh, here we go. Whoa.
Yeah, kitties.
Follow Beto or Dalton?
Yeah, we were discussing that. I don't know. I'm like him. It's been like Tom. It's been a long time since I saw the Fido, but even though I didn't like him, I was kind of going.
Hey, throw one at my
Dalton,
face.
I like that.
Reminds me of old times.
Hey, my uncle Jerry.
Fighting technique was the only reason I'm going there.
That's my uncle Jerry Jones. He's a man's man, and he said that Dalton's got more moves than Philo would know what to do with. So
Kind of where I was at.
and Philo was a tough character. Don't get me wrong. And
the entire Black Widow motorcycle.
dude, the Black
We've
Widow,
already went over this.
dude,
Nobody does listen.
the Black Widow's a bunch of pansies. They tripped in mud and fell down. I will tell them they're all dead. It doesn't matter.
What if it was just Sam Elliott, Clint Eastwood?
Oh shit!
Oh no, you've just ruined it. Now that's
Flipped
entirely.
the fucking
Oh,
Exploded.
fucking philosophy major right there. I mean, that's it.
Ah, it's Stanford people. Hey, Erica
Again,
Coulter says
yeah.
hi, by the way. from
Money
across
well
Europe.
spent once again. Yeah.
He says hello, Erica. That's
yeah, I
a
think
that's
I'd
a great.
I think I have to go Sam.
Well, we'll do a
Elliott.
quick
I don't know,
poll
but
for you. Who you got?
I'm going Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott.
I think
We're
I'm gonna
doing
go
a
Sam
poll,
Elliott,
people.
but-
Sam Elliott. Wade Garrett.
Sam Elliott.
Bubba.
We should have done
Just the mustache alone. You broke.
Clint or Sam? Clint or Sam?
Clint Eastwood or Sam Elliott?
In a fight.
Clint. Whoa.
I'm going with Bubba. I'm going with Clint
Clint?
on this one.
Mike, what you got?
I'm going with Clint.
I'm with Wade because he got the moves and he's a man.
Yeah, that's right.
What
What do you think?
Oh, Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
I got to
Sorry,
push.
Clint.
I can't answer that. That's.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm,
it's a tough
That's
one, man.
too
I don't
harsh.
know. Yeah.
I'm still, man. I mean,
Celebrity Deathmatch should have done Clint Eastwood.
oh
Wade
my
Garrett,
God,
Philo
great,
Beto.
Great catch. That would have been great.
Wade Garrett and Dirty Harry.
I feel like it's a stalemate. I mean, really. Well,
That's-
now, if it's Wade Garrett and Dirty Harry, then it's easy.
Well, no. What was his character?
Dirty Harry's got a big fucking gun.
What was the character from Heartbreak Ridge? What was his character's name? Gunny Sargent. Highway. Yeah.
Highway would whip his ass.
I mean, yeah. Gunny Sargent Highway would ruin. Sam, I mean, period. You know.
Johnny Walker said Deadpool. Okay. Erica Coulter said Clint Eastwood. Carl Lee says Philo.
And Rowdy and Rawhide.
We now have voting buttons if you would like to hit a voting button.
Oh, Billy Bob Carton.
Billy Bob, Clint would stop his ass. Thank you, Billy Bob. There we go. Me and Bubba were feeling a little outnumbered. Thank you very much. I agree, Billy Bob. I agree. Yeah. Good call. Good call.
If you voted verbally, well,
if you voted
wordily.
Well, look,
and
I can't.
here we go. We're at 50-50 right now.
And look, and I got to say, in all defense,
well, you already did.
If there's any, when amongst friends,
yes. Where we know you, bro. We're acquaintances.
Absolutely terrible. I'm gonna go back to ashing in my
beer.
The beer you're drinking,
the one you're drinking.
That's my mini ice cream cup.
You got ice cream over there? You sharing?
Assholes.
That is weird.
That's cream.
You guys suck.
What's the poll up for? It's 63
to 38.
Wow.
Oh, it's a 60-40.
60-40. Clint Eastwood is still winning.
Damn, Tom, that's a good question.
That's a great question.
Because that's, you take...
you just say characters. You say Clint Eastwood.
Sam Elliott, yes, sir.
Clint Eastwood's like 145 pounds in his prime.
A solid whoop your fucking ass, I believe.
So, I mean, yeah.
I've got a Manchester-related Clint Eastwood story.
Oh, shit.
Of course you do.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
When in France.
So in
he was.
So in the 1980s, Clint Eastwood was the mayor of a town called Carmel, California.
I do remember that.
Yeah. My mother and father met in Carmel, California, and we were getting ready to go and I have a cousin who lives there. We were getting ready to go on a trip to California whenever I was, 10 or 11 years old. And my dad went to the 41 drive-in for breakfast the morning before we went to the airport.
Was it still Bud's? Did Bud still own it? Was that his name?
No, it was Buck.
Buck.
Yeah, Buck Hanna.
Buck
yeah,
Hanna.
no, Buck still owned it.
Hey, Granny Gran.
Yeah. So he saw Roy Worthington, the mayor at the time, and he said, "Hey, Roy, I'm getting ready to head out to Carmel, California. I know Clint Eastwood's the mayor. Do you have a message you want me to give him?" So Roy said, yeah, I think I do. Can you stop by City Hall before you go to the airport? Because I have something I want to send to Mayor Eastwood. No, it was supposed to be a joke. It was not a pipe bomb. But on our way to the airport, we stopped at City Hall. My dad went in, and the secretary said, "Oh, Mayor Worthington is not here." And my dad said, "Oh, that's fine. Okay, we're going to go." And she said, No. He told me not to let you leave. He just went over to Leroy Muncie's to get a photo taken. And he's going to be back here soon. So, yeah. So he went over, got a photo taken, came back to City Hall, had a little portrait photo that said, "Greetings, Mayor Eastwood, Roy Worthington."
Oh, wow.
And he gave it to my dad.
Shot to give to Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, he did an autograph to give to Clint Eastwood.
That's some Johnny Lowry shit right there. If I ever heard
it. 6 degrees from Tommy. Random topic. Stop and go. Somebody call Tommy.
Dude, I already said it.
I already called that for show.
Yeah.
Just call my
So
6 points to get the.
It's not over yet. So
we
my
gonna narrow
dad
it down to 4.
So my dad goes out to
in all
California.
defense, you can't bring in the word Johnny Clouse.
And just in there, yeah, that's true. My dad's out in Carmel, California. He goes to the City Hall, and he says, "Hey, I'm from a small town in Tennessee, and the mayor there, he this is kind of a crazy story, but he gave me this picture, and da-da-da." And whoever he had run into, standing there in the mayor's office was like, "That's a pretty funny story. Why don't you give me the picture and come back next Tuesday?" So I said, okay. Gave him the picture, and then he went back the next Tuesday. So my dad walks in the next Tuesday, and he goes up to the secretary and says, "Hey, I'm here because I dropped off a photo, and she said, well, sir, this is an official place of business. We don't deal with, celebrity stuff here. We just try to get stuff done. And then whoever the guy was that he'd run into happened to be walking out of his office at the back, said, hey, Johnny, I think I got a photo for you. Hold on.
Official business.
Yeah. So the guy came out, and it was a picture like the picture that Roy Worthington said. He was in a tie, in a suit, and the picture that my dad got in return was Clint Eastwood in Pale Rider. And he was like sort of this way and turned toward the camera like this. And there was just a little note that it said, Dear Roy, thanks for the photo. Clint.
So, that is awesome.
Yeah, so my dad brought that back, and it was
so Clint
it was in Roy Worthington's office until he retired.
That's amazing.
That is.
Yeah. So
Oh,
there is a Clint Manchester connection. Just saying. I'm still going with Sam Elliott, but I mean I do have a soft spot for Clint.
Oh God.
That is amazing. Speaking of weird, interesting information, I don't know how many of you guys already know this, but as we all have heard, we lost Luke Perry recently, and we talked about that. But he's buried in Dixon, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Really? He is
How awesome is that?
So,
He is. He had a
I mean,
farm there. Yeah.
Terribly sad, but kind of cool.
I don't know.
Do you think he lost them?
So
like
yeah,
he died and lost his sideburns, or did he just
a ranch, if you will,
Really?
some acreage in a small town, just
That explains what happened with his career trajectory.
outside of Dixon.
Like near
that's
Burns.
correct.
Yeah.
I'd have to
well,
look
or
at
Samson and his hair.
Oh, Matt Vinson is watching, guys. Matt Vinson.
Matt Vinson.
Matt
So,
Vincent.
the
Rapper.
Yeah. Well,
Or is it Brandy watching? We don't know.
Oh, it could
Apparently,
be Matt
Travis,
and Brandy.
during
Matt
during
and
the
Brandy.
Nashville flood, 2010.
They might be watching together.
Luke Perry
They
was
probably
part
are
of the
together.
water.
They're a lot together.
And foods, like he was part of the
Yeah.
They do.
relief
Yeah, they do.
Oh, okay.
and
Oh, yeah.
for
Yeah.
Louisiana
what,
during some of their
Katrina?
times and whatnot. He had
well,
done some.
yeah. Well,
Apparently, he was in his local environment in Tennessee. He was kind of, low profile.
Yeah.
But when needed to step up, he stepped up and he did the right thing to help out. Like I said, during the flood.
Yeah.
I just thought it was really neat.
That's
He's
pretty
buried
cool.
here
Yeah.
in Tennessee. I thought
That's
that was
pretty cool.
neat. I hate that he's buried, but
Yeah.
His son's a wrestler. Do you know that?
I did. I actually know
Yeah,
this.
wrestlers for.
My best friend's a wrestler.
He jumps off the second row.
That's me. And there's the trophy right there. By the way.
Two-rope Tony.
6-man tag team champion. That's me.
Two-rope Tony over here.
2-rope. 2-rope. Y'all are no rope. How about that? All right, guys. That's right. I looked hot in my jeans and my Jordans. Shit. Oh,
You did.
damn, I appreciate that.
I hear some sirens. Should we check on Steve? Because he didn't make it.
Oh, have
Oh,
y'all talked to
Steve.
Steve? You talked to Steve Jernigan? Anybody
We don't
here?
have any time
I have
for
not.
it.
I've been to Nashville.
Have you talked to Steve, Mike?
I saw him Sunday riding
No,
his bicycle.
no.
so wait,
Mike is not.
he was on his way, and now we're
riding
just
by.
hearing sirens outside.
So the sirens are coming, so
Mike,
Steve
you're
can't make
supposed
it.
to keep up with this
No
stuff.
time for Steve tonight.
Sorry, Steve.
Well, guys, I guess we better wrap this up, man. We're about almost 3 hours in.
That's a normal episode.
Well, we still got like
We've
7
got
more.
two parts to go.
Yeah, we didn't get all the way. We got a few more.
We're at
So this is
25.
part one.
We only got the second base.
That and I feel like we should rewind to Vinny V and I did a breakdancing thing like when we were kids in Callaway Gardens. That's a whole
On
nother
the next episode.
prequels. There's some prequels to this. Yeah.
Ooh, we should
What's
have
that?
a prequel.
Yeah, Breaking
I
Matt.
did.
Well, no, we just used cardboard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's like pop blocking, but weird. I'm like, no, that's where it started, right here.
yeah.
Mine was yellow.
Oh,
I had
that
a Breaking
was,
Man. Mine was yellow and circle.
Matt and I did a big show down in Callaway Gardens. It was like we went on this family vacation, and he knew some dude there, and we did this like breakdancing thing.
Course.
Yeah,
She did, Tommy.
it was like the first time breakdancing was cool.
Right after he got some sun.
If you didn't pick it up from the flannel shirt, yeah, total pioneer breakdancing.
Were they on American Gladiators?
Yeah.
He just called out the gladiators, bro. Straight out.
My favorite was Malibu, by the way. That was the hair.
I was an
Actually-
Nitro fan.
It wasn't. I don't give a shit. If they take their time with tennis balls, they would have won. Every
I
time.
agree. Now, what was the Zap? That
Zap
blonde
was
chick?
fine.
She was hot and lace. Oh my.
Blaze.
Blaze was Blaze.
Blaze. Oh God, yes.
Fire ass hot, son.
I feel like I was in kindergarten and I saw it, but I have no frame of reference.
You're
Probably
still
were.
winning, by the way. You're still winning with everything you say because it just means you're way younger than all of us. Yeah. That's how you win.
You've trumped all his scores.
Oh, by just being younger.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, Carly, you got 2 more beers left, man. I don't know if we.
I don't have 2 beers left in me. I gotta
Tooth's
go.
about to fall asleep.
I'm
Eli's
tired.
nursing
He's
home
even had a
already.
huge-
Eli's in the nursing home.
Camera eating cheese balls.
Talking to Bubba. You
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Get on the mic.
Hey, do you just want to go sit in Eli's chair?
Yeah,
I can do
there's
that, yeah.
space.
There we go.
And even a phone.
I got
But
one,
slow battery.
one statement and then one question.
Yeah.
Statement. I've traveled all over the world, and I now know that I've done shit. So thank you for that. I'm going back to Europe in 2 weeks. I may not come back after tonight.
Yeah.
So,
Well, let me know where you're going.
I've spent a lot of time in China.
Yeah.
And your philosophy, I'm not. But there's been a Chinese philosophy quote that stuck with me for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get this too deep, but it seems like it really would tie to you. So I'm just curious what your favorite one is. See if it happens to be it. And I cannot pronounce.
favorite?
I cannot pronounce the name of the philosopher. Even if I tried, I couldn't.
See, I would need multiple choice on this.
Well, yeah, that's a tough one because actually, and Bull referenced this earlier that there is a classical Chinese philosopher that I really, really like, but he speaks more in parables than in short quotes. I can tell you one of his parables, but I'm 100% sure it's not the one you're thinking
No,
of.
I'm pretty sure. It's
But there are a lot of. One of the things that I love about Chinese philosophy is, unlike Western philosophy, it's not super. It's not at. Okay, I'm not gonna. Sorry, we're gonna wrap this up.
No.
I'll stop. Yeah.
No, I'm like, damn it, Eli, you spilt cheese balls everywhere.
Oh, shit!
No.
How did cheese balls interrupt this enlightened
You take
conversation?
as much time as you need on this answer because I'm like,
Yeah, let's talk
Dude,
cheese balls and beer.
hey,
Let's go with philosophy over
Do you
here.
want to come sit?
All right, here we go. Here we
I
go.
don't need to do that, do I?
You're good.
Only if you don't want to.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I do enjoy the character is either the same or similar to the character for Heart. So it's not so strictly cerebral in terms of the way they process things. It's much more about like how your emotions are incorporated into that. So to go back to my favorite quote from a Chinese philosopher, I'll tell you, when I was in college, and this is also one of the great things about going to school at Stanford because they had a philosophy program, even as a freshman, that incorporated like Indian philosophy, Chinese philosophy, different parts of the world, you know. And I remember I did almost none of the reading for any of it, and there was a guy that I'd met in an acting class, and I'd gone to class. I got into class a little bit early, and I decided, I should do the reading for this class. So I opened the book, and then I was already tired of it and was ready to take a nap. And this guy in my acting class came by, and he picked up this book. He said, I love this book. And he picked it up, and he read this quote. And this is the quote that he read. Still one of my very favorites. And he said, the trap exists because of the fish. Once I have the fish, I no longer need the trap. The snare exists because of the rabbit. Once I have the rabbit, I no longer need the snare. Words exist because of their meaning. Once I have the meaning, I no longer need the words. Where can I meet a man who needs no words so that I may have a word with him?
That's big pun.
Anyway, and that was kind of like, honestly, that was kind of the beginning of my trajectory into Chinese philosophy, which is still where I am today. I still study it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's a little bit longer than I'm guessing what you're going to say. But I think also whatever you're going to say.
What you were going to say.
Well, I can't pronounce the philosopher, and it's probably very common, you know. But it's just something that kind of stuck with me with somebody that's taken off and traveled and done a lot of things and kind of experienced a lot of things, and I usually screw it up, but it's do the difficult things when they're easy, do the great things when they're small. Life's journey starts with a small step. So when you just take off and I'm starting here and it's going to get me here and it's going to get me there, it's kind of ties in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of advice goes a little bit back to what I was saying about the way that it's not as strictly analytical and intellectual as most of Western philosophy is. It's a little bit more practical about like advice about how to live, rather than I'm going to sit in a box and just think for days and come up with a solution. It's much more about I'm going to think about this, I'm going to do it, see how it works. Once I see how that goes, I'm going to like step back, look at it again. It's a much more practical way of living,
action
approach to living. Yeah, so that is for me part of the attraction of Eastern philosophy. Yeah.
How in the hell do y'all remember that stuff? Like
7.
The exact quote you both of you.
It's called IQ.
It's memory.
Well, no, it's called. I've read it like a million times. No, it's like a million times.
It's the same way that you remember your damn sports statistics.
I know. Yeah, you asking people how they know stuff. The Travolmanac.
It's easy to remember things you're interested in, and he's interested in those things, Travis.
Yeah, exactly. It's like remembering sports.
It's like remembering labia. I mean, I'll never forget now. Huh?
Eli, you have to try the beer on camera. You're not on camera. Go good. Get on camera to try the beer.
See my bitter face when
Oh. No, it's a
Hey, Eli, they've been seeing your bitter face since
Oh my!
episode 1.
That's not bitter. Actually,
Well, fuck you.
I will. Mike.
Beer
So
capital.
is this the wheat beer, or which beer is this?
No, this is
Hutton and
Blonde.
Smith.
Hutton and
The
Smith
blonde. Yeah.
Belay On. It's a hoppy blonde ale provided by GRS Designs.
Okay,
Purchased at Harvest Local Foods. GRS Design makes our T-shirts and our koozies. Gretchen Ritchie Season. GRS Designs at Etsy.com, I believe, is their site.
right.
They have they can make hats, T-shirts,
Instagram.
koozies, pillows, all kinds of
Stickers.
and they provide us beer. So a hoppy blonde ale.
And the beer is from Harvest Local Foods.
Yes.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you guys for having me on here.
Yeah, thank
We're
you.
going to have one of
Cheers.
these right here. Cheers. I'm going to pass
Cheers.
By the way,
from Angel.
here's a little cultural lesson.
Yeah.
When you're in China and you can't reach the person you want to cheers, you just tap the table like that.
At the table. I
I
like
usually
Yeah,
That's what
cheers,
we do when we make
tap,
shots. We tap the
drink.
table.
Yeah. You don't tap it like that and then pound it. You just tap it like that.
No, I
and
mean,
then-
when
it.
we
Eli,
take
did you like the
shots,
beer?
subtly tap it.
When
Yeah.
we take shots,
It was
we
okay.
do the shot.
So that's good.
We take the shot. As the shot's empty, we all tap our glass, our shot glass to the
Oh,
table.
nice.
What'd you think of
I
the beer?
cheers, tap, shoot.
You not drinking yours
That's
too?
good.
Oh, you don't have to. I'm just.
It's not terrible at all.
No, it's not terrible.
That's
No,
a good
it's
beer.
I like
It's
this
good
one.
It smells
Cheers,
really
Carly.
good.
I'm not a huge blonde beer person, but I,
I
like
am
this one
not
a lot.
either. Well, and what?
I like this one. It's pretty good.
Well, and the interesting thing, going from the Hutton and Smith promenade to the Belay, it's sort of a. I want to go right back to the promenade. Is my 2 cents.
Yeah, I really like the promenade. But those days you don't want to drink a 6 or 7% alcohol.
F-150 right
I
here.
really like the Belay On. Yeah, it's a
Are you
lighter
in
beer
Honda?
and got a little hop.
Yeah.
Can't believe y'all are selling it after
You
you said
leaving,
you
buddy?
weren't selling it.
We're wrapping this up. Lady A, thanks for womaning the controls.
Well, thank
as always.
you.
You're welcome. Maybe. Tooth,
Yes, buddy.
thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Thanks for bringing my food earlier.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks for
that.
dinner.
My pleasure for real.
Yeah. Tommy Clouse. Great show. Next time if you're in town, you got time, please come back and finish these stories.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, dude,
you guys
hope you
come
had
up to Nashville sometime. We'll go. Can we do like a? We can't really do
We can do whatever.
a rowing episode or something like that.
No,
We
Yeah,
can.
we do a road show. Let's
Oh,
do a
yeah.
road show. We'll get
We have
fella
that
out. We'll do like
capability.
a whole Nashville thing.
Urban girl.
Yeah.
I'll show up tomorrow and sing at your house.
Yeah.
Urban,
As long as you got the microphone and the camera.
urban girl, urban girl.
Yeah,
Bubba
Johnny,
says.
Johnny, you're invited.
Yeah. No, we can do it. Let's do it.
Hey, Eli, thanks for being here.
Eli said,
I think Eli's going to look for Steve
We're
Jernigan.
45 minutes past his bedtime.
Yeah, we talked about going hanging out with the big fella and Walter up in
Well,
Nashville.
he lives like a block from me.
So we'll just all
you can
congregate.
stay at my house. I got like a lot of space.
We'll all just come hang out with everybody.
Let's do it. I'm down.
Johnny, thanks for showing up.
Yeah.
It's good, Tommy. Yeah, appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
You got a question? Ask him. Jump.
Yeah.
Of course you want to show off.
he wants to show off
Oh.
when he asks the question.
Oh, I thought you said he wanted to show off.
We're gonna start on religion, and then we're gonna go to politics.
Oh, okay. So
Cut the camera. Cut the camera. Cut the camera.
Well, funny, John Richardson said the other day, he's like, I think Travis should do Dickel shots and talk about politics on the show.
I love it.
No. That ain't what you want.
I love the idea.
Man, I don't know nothing dick about it.
I love the idea.
Because I don't care about it.
Especially if you got two people on the opposite ends or different, but they respect each other.
Right.
Then you can actually have a discussion.
But some they don't respect and start being dicks. I'm going to whoop your ass if you don't shut your mouth, and then I'm going to hit him in the face.
But he's all talk. He's all talk.
You can't do that.
It's a joke, bull.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't want somebody to get stuck.
We're only talking about politics. We're not even talking about
That's
politics.
what I was thinking.
Talking about politics.
Some
Already
can't
getting
even do
heated.
that.
It's a joke.
That's it.
Johnny, thanks for showing up because Tommy.
Well, thank you, Johnny, for showing up for me. I appreciate that.
Thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing
It's
up.
really damn rare.
Johnny out.
Let me
Thank
go.
you for showing up regardless.
Let me go
also
through
being
these
here while
notes,
I'm
and I'll
here.
tell you the last time he showed up. Well, some other book because I ain't in that one. That's for damn sure. Hatfield, thanks for hanging out at Peanut Gallery, sir.
Man, it's always awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
Bubba.
you.
Bubba got his Jordan jersey on, and if I see one more gosh dang debate about LeBron and
There
Jordan,
is no debate.
No,
There's no
there
debate.
is not.
stop it. Stop it. I love LeBron. I love LeBron to death. I love watching him play. He's a great player, but he is not Jordan. Buckets, he's not Jordan. Stop it. Dominique is closer to Jordan than LeBron will ever be to Jordan. Take that.
Put that in your pipe and
Bull.
shake it.
Thanks for being here, sir.
I'm eating Cheetos.
You are eating Cheetos. Yeah, we can hear him and
Well,
hear you
thank
chew
you,
them.
Captain Obvious.
See there, you're wrapping a Christmas present.
No, that's what Bull sounds
Mike
like. when he's
Cardinal,
rapping.
thanks for hanging out with us, sir.
Enjoyed it.
Enjoy
Great time.
it, yeah, and taking in all this, all the things that are here.
Good stuff.
That's a good word for it.
That sensory overload. Yeah.
We're things. Yeah,
Yeah.
So we're
Good
sorry.
not to overspecify.
You took in some international travels tonight. That's what you,
You
took
did.
in.
Yeah.
Escapades, if you will.
Yeah.
Well, apparently he's been all over the world and he ain't done shit because of Tom.
Tommy's been doing it all for us.
True.
So, Tommy, we're going to require is like next time you go somewhere, just like shoot us a text, an email, or something. Hey, I'm here. This is what I did, and then we're going to tell people, hey, I went to Amsterdam and I did this.
Well,
Like, am I just like a text, or are you gonna have to-
Email, messenger pigeon,
Pictures,
raven.
Photos.
Doesn't
If
matter.
you know how to do Facebook Live, you can just do it live.
Glory be to Eli.
I don't know.
All right.
Maybe you just come to Nashville, go out sometime. It's easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets tricky with that.
All right, guys, don't forget YouTube Live. Subscribe to it. You all right over there, Chad?
He threw all his
So apparently Eli spilt the trough of cheese balls, and the ones he spilled, he put in Chad's cooler.
Hey, at least he cleaned up after himself. As it should. Yes, sir. It'll
Hello,
cost him.
Alyssa Williams Henley.
Yeah.
I was supposed to get back with her because I was going to have her on the show, and I freaking forgot.
On his watch party, she says something about getting alcohol.
Huh?
On his watch party, she says about providing the liquor for the show.
Well,
So
come on, let's go, because
down with that.
I got busy at work, supposed to call her, and I forgot because we were shorthanded, had somebody quit, and I fired somebody, so I forgot to call her.
Somehow Alyssa, who I used to hang out with all
No,
the time, I've
not
only
you.
seen in San Francisco in
Yeah?
the last few years.
She's a whiskey aficionado. I didn't mean you shorthanded, Johnny. I'm sorry. And we haven't painted over your drawing
It's
yet.
not bright enough. You can't see it.
You drew it, wasn't us.
It's your fault.
It's your hand.
Yeah, I did real quick.
No one can see it.
That is your hand?
That is Johnny's hand.
kind of looked like Bart Simpson.
Who else's hand is it, Tommy?
Yeah.
8 people have a hand just like that. Holy shit. Let me go.
Wait, bend your fingers. There you
This
go.
is your hand?
One of
I'm
them.
like, that?
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, he met one of them was in the French Alps.
Hey, during Thanksgiving, during school year, when I made my turkey was always the best.
But shouldn't it have like that part out? Like, need a head.
Tommy, did you? We'll talk about it after the show.
Alyssa pretty much knows more about whiskey than anybody.
Alyssa does know more about whiskey than anybody I know of.
Oh, then I definitely
And
we need to hang
She
out.
said she'd come on the show, and I was supposed to call her. She gave me her phone number, and we got busy as shit, and I forgot to call her because she likes to plan her
Girl, hit me up.
work schedule months in advance, and I couldn't.
I've heard that's what important people do.
Yeah.
I ain't there yet, but Bull called me this morning, but whatever.
Now, he may only call you this morning, but he told me about it yesterday.
Tell Tommy about it.
That's how Bull does things. He sets everybody up.
Lined up for the peanut gallery. Guest yet.
Yeah.
You were standing.
That's a true promoter.
Yeah.
Put the pressure on first, then deliver.
You above.
You gotta come. All these people are gonna be
I told Tommy, I was
You
like,
don't have to.
no pressure, just everybody else I called said no.
Yeah.
No pressure at all. No pressure.
You you and Bubba were the DHs.
Designated hitters.
You're Edgar Martinez and both of y'all. So yeah. So guys, don't forget Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Subscribe to YouTube Live. We're new on that. Don't forget we got Irons in the Fire with some live shows.
Irons.
Irons in the Fire. It is frightening. Oh, you're gonna like one of them because you'll be there. I promise you.
Not live, I won't.
Oh yes, you will.
Next month is gonna be a good month.
We got a better chance of
Wow.
Prince showing up than
That
Tommy
is-
showing up to that one, I think.
That's
amazing.
All the time.
All right.
In your drink.
What?
Speaking of testing LSD on folks.
Oh, speak real quick. Have y'all seen Leaving Neverland on HBO? Holy shit! I'm not gonna quit listening to Michael Jackson, but just watch it.
It changes the lyrics to all the songs, though. When you listen to them
Just
back,
watch
you're
it.
like, "Oh, shit,
I don't listen-
Not alone.
I don't.
I've got this locked in a closet.
No, that's R. Yeah, that's what I was say. That was R. Kelly.
That is
You know
R.
what
Kelly.
you call a pirate pedophile?
R. Kelly. All right, appreciate it, guys.
Oh, I said it for you.
Fuck off.
Whoa.